idea functionally what I'm doing.
Months until I'm customizing my pussy lips. I'm very excited.
For fucking the giggles.
Yo, you ain't getting a candy bar, bitch.
I have 1 round left. Just enough for myself.
Alright, we're recording.
I smell the shame on him. The shame of a league player.
No, you're just smelling the residuals off yourself.
Robbie finished
No, it
playing a
definitely
match of
smells
League,
like league.
so I've been listening to this for a bit.
It absolutely smells
I
like
can
league.
only imagine. I can only imagine.
I smell the scent of a league player and something from the top of my monster can. There's like a weird like sticky residue on top of this monster can, and I don't know what it is, and it kind of smells like baby powder. It's very strange.
Why is there baby powder on top of your monster can?
I don't know, but the monster itself tastes fine. I just don't know if it's been poisoned or something.
The top of the can was. The actual drink is fine.
Yeah.
I'd still be worried.
Well, I'm drinking it.
At least baby powder, it's like a nice clinical smell. Like, that's a good thing that you want to mysteriously smell. Like,
It really is kind of what it smells like.
It could smell like bitter almonds, and in that case, you should be concerned.
It really does kind of smell like. You might hear my can bumping into my mic right now, but it smells like. It smells like baby powder.
Yeah, I can hear it bumping in the mic right now.
It sounds like baby powder from the mic bumps.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. Hold on, wait. Let's see if you guys can really like. Oh yes.
Yeah, that's baby powder, definitely, for sure. Someone's talking your monsters, man.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that.
Make it easier for you to grip them. Get a little bit of that powder on your hands.
Tastes like monster though, so I don't know. If you don't hear from me in a week, I died.
Open your monster cans like an Olympic gymnast, like you gotta chalk up first.
Yes, they're very difficult. They have these caps, these fancy caps. I recently switched back from Red Bull to drinking Monster for a few reasons. Because like you can't get a 24-ounce Red Bull can, but you can get a 24-ounce Monster can, and it's cheaper. So I'm like, oh fuck it, whatever. So I'm drinking Monster again, and I realized that I kind of like it. You know, like it tastes good. I don't mind it. I like Red Bull too, but I can live with this. I forgot how awesome the little cap is on the top of a Giga Monster can. The fact that it comes with like a resealable cap, and it's got that satisfying like pop and fizz when you open it.
You know what else is really good? The Monster imports, where they have that plastic like rotatey thing.
Is that what are we talking about the same thing? Because on the big green, the big normal Monster cans, they have like a cap that you rotate and you take it off.
Well, is it like a little like Melander? What the
Melander.
fuck? Metal like Snapple cap.
Yes.
No, I'm talking about the plastic one that's on imports that just rotates on the top. It never comes off.
Oh, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about then.
They're pretty good. I like imports. I have a feeling that the import shit is bullshit. Like they just wrote import on the side of the can. It's from England or some shit. Laws. All right.
Not a fan of Monster, personally.
I like it.
I only like the alternative Red Bulls, like the blues and the greens and the poips.
I really don't drink any energy drinks.
I like Ultra Zero Monsters because I'm trying to watch my figure, and it still gives me the energies, and it still makes me poop. So
drink Monster for a laxative, kids.
Basically.
Is that a desired part of your monster drinking experience? Because for me, that's just a side effect. Like I poop normally
anyway. It gets me ready for the day. It's like, all right, I have energy and no poop in my system. I can work now.
Do you drink? Do you drink Monster in the morning?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't like coffee, so I have Monster.
Right. I forgot you're a heathen.
I
doesn't like coffee.
I really like coffee.
Yeah, I've become a coffee guy. Not so much in the morning, but in the afternoon and at night, which is weird, but
that is weird. I'll drink coffee at both times.
I like it more in the morning.
I treat it like a dessert more than a.
That's because you put like Italian sweet cream and shit in it.
Yeah, I like my coffee.
Yeah, so it winds up becoming a fucking dessert.
Yeah, I like sweet coffee.
I drink that. I drink coffee at night as well. Sometimes at hours that I should not drink coffee, which
it doesn't
is
keep me
not
up, though.
smart. It keeps me up for sure. What kind of coffee do you drink?
I don't know, fucking like the pods for the Keurig, like Colombian coffee. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
He buys
Okay,
whatever
you don't
comes
know
into
what
the
the
house.
Okay, so well that answers my question. Is to know what the brand is, but
So you really are
have
drinking it just for the creamer.
Yeah, basically.
What brand of creamer is that? Say it clearly into the microphone. Label turned out, please.
so that they sponsor us. Italian sweet cream,
Great value.
Great value.
great value. Walmart,
Wherever
please.
values are great.
Sponsor.
I've been drinking
Walmart,
Coffee
please.
Mate sweet
Al-
cream. That's good too. I mean, it's all the same crap.
Also Coffee Mate, also Monster. Please give us money. Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah.
I guess it's weeks unless you want to keep talking about coffee and stuff. Because I'm down with that.
I don't know. I
Yeah,
for
but
a
you don't
little
even
bit-
like coffee, so how much do you want to sit here and listen to us
I
talk about our coffee addiction?
I'll loop back to fucking energy drinks, and then even if I don't, I have an opinion on sweeteners because there was a time in my life when I was depressed, and I would just fucking drink the creamer straight.
Oh my God,
I
what?
can't drink creamer. I don't like creamer. I tried
Ew.
the Italian sweet cream. I don't,
In
Oh,
Anthony's
no.
defense,
It's
in
got an
Anthony's,
aftertaste.
in Anthony's defense, the creamer I use, I could drink that straight. It's
Oh,
That
really
it was
good.
that type.
Oh,
It was the
it's
Italian
good,
sweet.
dude.
How could you drink that straight?
Because
Oh,
it's
no.
like drinking a cannoli. It's
It is
so good.
Basically,
It
it
is
is
not
very
a
close to
cannoli.
that,
It
honestly.
is not a cannoli.
I don't
It's,
like.
it's like
Cannoli,
drinking
it
a
is not
cannoli.
fucking cannoli.
I don't like anything you guys are saying. That's fucking gross. And
You
I
don't agree,
like,
you agree with me then?
no, I like granolas, but I don't like
Yeah,
drinking liquid
exactly.
granolas straight into my fucking stomach.
I
I
think
like
I'm not
cannoli.
okay
I
with
think I watered it down in a way, but I even then I think I watered it down with like vodka. Like it was a bad time.
Oh. Okay.
It was a good time, but it was a bad time.
It was a good and bad time.
Best
it was
of
the
times,
best
it was
of
the
times.
worst
It was
of
the
times.
worst of times. Yes. Excellent.
Did drinking straight creamer give you like fierce diarrhea at
No,
all?
honestly.
Imagine. Mixed with alcohol, especially.
No, I don't know. I mean, I've eaten cheese like a fiend my entire life, so I have a pretty good working relationship with milk products.
I don't know.
I don't ever really. It's just Monster that cleans me out like a fucking clock.
I swear, if I drank straight fucking flavored creamer, I'd be shitting for days, probably.
This is what people come here to listen to.
Our bowel movements and what we enjoy drinking.
I mean, it's
yeah.
look.
No, it's what they don't come here to listen
What
to.
I
It's why
what
no
I
one's
did was
here.
not normal. Who knows? Maybe this now we'll kick off. This is it. They're like, oh, these
Yeah.
motherfuckers drinking straight creamer.
This is the best opening they've ever had.
This was out of my jib.
Talking about their shits and drinking creamer.
I mean, our first podcast started off with shits.
That's true.
Did it? Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
Bringing
right.
it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That-
We have a legacy to uphold here.
Your go-to talk for video game news and shits.
For a bit before the fucking my grinder broke, I was grinding my own coffee beans.
Hell yeah, dude. That's the way to do it.
And I was doing. My girl got me a dark chocolate and like honey infused coffee beans. They were really good.
How did
really,
your grinder break?
It got water in it.
Oh,
I'm washing it. From,
Rip.
because I was gonna say, yeah. I hope your beans aren't stronger than steel.
So the quest for a new coffee grinder is underway. I'm just like really undecisive because I don't want to buy one and then it break again. I want it to be a good, solid purchase.
Mortar and pestle that sucker. Go old school. Also, do alchemy.
Yeah, I'll just make lead in the gold while I'm at it. Come rich.
I've never had any of those like flavor infused like coffee beans. However, I do agree that grinding beans is the way to go if you have the option. Typically, if I drink, because I don't use pods. I put we have a Keurig and shit, but we have these things that are like fillable pods, if that makes any sense. So it's like a pod that slots in your
thing.
Yeah, it like slots into the Keurig where the pod would go, but you fill it. So if you grind your own beans, you fill it and it runs the water through it and shit like that. or you just buy like pre-ground coffee or whatever, which is typically what I use.
Are you a coarse man or are you a smooth man?
Well, typically, I prefer grinding beans to the pre-ground shit. I feel like I notice a difference in taste.
Right,
I
but
have, like, a
I'm saying
bag of
what
beans.
consistency, because you're in control. What consistently
That
do
doesn't
you
really
get it
matter.
to?
I
Oh, you
usually
don't give a
grind the shit.
All right.
No, it doesn't matter. I grind it until it goes in the pot, and then I get the coffee, and then I'm good to go. But I do notice a taste difference between beans and non-bean coffee. I
Like
recently
freshly
had a
ground
bag of
versus
coffee. Sorry, not to cut you off. I recently had a bag of coffee that was beans, that was supposedly Ethiopian coffee, and it was pretty good.
Is that the one where, what is it, the goat eats it and then shits it out and then it's like
No,
better?
but I would eat that though, or I would drink that,
I
right?
would definitely try that just to say I have.
Yeah, I
I
would
don't think
try
it was
that.
a goat. We've had this conversation before, like
I would
years
try
ago.
that.
I don't think it's a goat, but it's some other animal.
It
It's
is a
like the
creature.
way, yeah, they like shit the coffee beans out, and for some reason that like has something to do with how they procure the beans. I don't remember what the point
That's
is.
so odd, though.
It strengthens it in some way. I can't remember if it's like more caffeine-y or stronger flavor. Definitely a stronger flavor of some.
Oh, definitely
Some
sort of flavor
notes.
right there.
There you go. The benefit of doing the podcast from home due to Rona is that my computer is right in front of me, and I can easily Google this.
I
Coffee
mean,
beans from poop.
when we were doing it in person, we had our phones.
Yeah,
That's
it's true.
true.
This is easier though with my keyboard in front of me. I can do it quick. Oh no, it's one of those websites that won't let me read it.
Oh, accept
give
our
him my
cookie policy.
While I'm reading.
Please
I
accept.
think it's Kopi Luwak coffee. I'm trying to figure out what animal shits this stuff out.
God damn it, Kopi Luwak.
What is this article I just found? Animal poop coffee, coffee with cat poop and monkey saliva. What?
Sick.
Huh?
They're enhancing the formula. They're making they're making monkeys spit into cat asses.
That's hot.
Wait, what? Oh,
I mean, what? How else could it possibly work out? Embrace monkey.
You've probably heard of Kopi Luwak coffee that is
Okay.
popular in Indonesia, but did you know that it's not the only coffee that involves the digestive system of the animals? There's also bat poop coffee, elephant, bird, and monkey poop coffee.
So
And the main things they have in common are the unique flavor profile and a hefty price tag. I hope it's got a unique flavor profile if it's coming out of an animal's fucking shit.
yeah.
can't get more unique.
Beans are eaten and then pooped out by these animals. The coffee is safe to consume because of the processing that follows. Would you guys drink that? I think I absolutely would.
I've
I
literally
mean-
eaten grasshoppers, so
I have not eaten grasshoppers. I wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, I would. I mean, it's still got to go through the, USDA checks to be fucking edible, so
I tried.
whatever.
What the fuck?
uh-oh.
Are you all right? Are you all right there?
A bag of Kopi Luwak coffee from Amazon is $399
Oh my god.
for a 16-ounce bag of shit
Oh.
coffee.
Wow.
This is what we do. Calling out to all our loyal subscribers. Send us
You want us to
money
have this
so
poop
we can do a live review
Camelcast
of
mailbag
poop coffee.
PO box.
That's true. Yeah, we could do a live. If you guys pay for it, we'll do a live taste test of Kopi
We'll
Luwak
do a
poop
review.
coffee.
We
do
got
a
you
review.
the razor gum. We gave you that one for free. Any other reviews, you
Yeah.
need to pay us in the product, not in actual money.
There's less expensive brands, but they're still extremely expensive. Like for this one, it's a 4.4 ounce bag of monkey shit coffee, and it's $25 for 4 ounces of coffee. That's like fucking nothing.
Well, monkeys
dude.
take bigger shits, so there's more to collect.
That's still so overpriced. For
What I'm
shit
saying is
coffee.
the yield is greater of delicious.
I guess there is a
shit
lot of
coffee.
work that goes into getting beans from the shit.
Right.
Yeah, I imagine.
Someone's job is to pick through probably miles of just cat, monkey, whatever shit, just to
Oh,
get the beans.
You think
back.
it's someone's job to go through it by hand? They go through it with a machine, so they don't have to pay no one.
No. No, it's by hand.
Yeah, you forget they're picking these these shit beans in like third world countries, Rob. They're getting paid less than the upkeep of the machine.
I mean, they're not doing it like straightly by hand too. I'm sure there's like a sifting device involved.
Listen,
Yes.
as much as I would like to continue talking about monkey shit coffee, if I don't stop talking about it, my dog is gonna shit in my house.
Okay.
So I have to go walk her really fast. It's up to you if you'd like to wait
We
and
can
before we
wait.
do weeks, or just do start weeks without me, and we'll pick up when I get back.
I'm gonna edit this out. No one
I'll be
say
back.
anything interesting.
Okay, I'm back.
He's back.
Welcome back.
I'm sorry for that horrible interruption.
Did your dog poop out the coffee beans that you're collecting and selling for a massive profit?
No, unfortunately not. I did think about though that while I was outside. That's funny you say that because I was like, what if I just got coffee beans and then I had my dog shit them out, and then I collected the coffee beans, and I was like, look, this is my $400 bag of Kopi Luwak. Please buy it.
This is off topic, but I'm just
we've been on
scrolling-
topic so far.
Yeah. I'm just scrolling
Oh, we have
YouTube,
been.
and there's a video that's like live from Bloomberg fucking business news or whatever. It's like live. Brexit deal may mean less British cod for fish and chips, but the thumbnail is just GameStop.
Yeah, we're gonna
Yeah.
get to. You know what? I
We got weeks, dude.
I will skip weeks to jump right
No,
into that.
we got weeks.
This is the
Just
greatest
quick.
story there's
Nope.
ever been.
It's week time.
Oh, someone else go first.
No, just because you don't want to, you go first.
Oh,
Tell me your
Your
week now.
disappointment means you go first.
I've been playing mostly Cyberpunk, and that is a very interesting. It's weird to live in the world where I didn't buy Cyberpunk at launch, so my expectations have been like readjusted to the point where I like it a whole lot. Like I like even like the world and the quest. There are some. First
I would like
off,
to say, hold on, before you go too much further, I've
Go
been
ahead.
watching you bang this game out like every night that I turn my computer on.
Mhm.
I don't even need you to tell me. I'm almost 100% sure that you're probably further than I am because I haven't played it in like fucking a month.
Okay.
Less than that, more like 3 or 4 weeks. So just be careful. Don't spoil
No,
me.
I'm
That's
not.
all
I'm
I'm
not
asking.
gonna. I'm not gonna spoil anything.
Okay.
So yeah, when whoever dies, no, I'm kidding. But
When everyone's dead, it's crazy, dude.
it's nuts. But I don't know. I think the dressing of the world is done extremely well. The streets seem like crowded enough. The gunplay is pretty damn good, and I like most of the characters too, and the way you can interact with everything and stuff like that. It's very nice so far. There are some hilarious bugs that I've encountered, like nuts.
Hell yeah.
Holy crap.
Let me hear some of your bug experiences.
Oh, it's so great. In like literally the first encounter with Jackie, I was kind of like looking off of him because I'm doing like this autistic RP head thing with V as I'm playing. So like I'm either looking at people or looking off of people and like nodding my head. I don't know why I'm doing it. I'm just doing it. But anyway, so I'm looking kind of off him, and then I was like, oh, you could zoom in just by, clicking, right click even in these cutscenes. That's neat. And every time I zoomed in, he immediately jumped to T pose. And so I had a very good time for like 10 minutes. There's one time I was driving and like 5 or 6 cars just spawned on top of each other, were stuck for a moment, and then exploded outward, which
Yeah, that
was
sounds about right.
just pretty incredible. And then a lot of animation bugs and stuff, but that's less crazy, I think. A lot of T-posing, but I really like T-posing, so it's all good.
It's like I said last week when I was talking about my experience with it. Like I don't know if you've had any major like progression stopping bugs, but I haven't had anything like that when I was playing it. I just got shit like that, which is hilarious. It's also a little immersion breaking and kind of fucked up sometimes to look at, but like it's mostly just shit like that.
I gotta say,
T-posing models and cars physics just freaking out.
there's two major gripes that like one keeps coming up and it just pisses me off, and then the other one is just structurally the game isn't made very well. Um, because like they it, after you get to the prologue and the game opens up, there is nothing to warn you about like the level gates of the areas. So you go, oh yeah, I'll do this mission, and then like everyone will kill you by looking at you,
Yeah.
and you'll die in a stray bullet. Um, and that's a big mess up. The mini map is too fucking zoomed in, especially when you're driving and trying to use it as a GPS. It's like you're going and then you have to make like a hairpin turn, and it's just such a minor. Just zoom it out, just a little bit more. That's an easy fix. Especially when you get into vehicles. And there was something else I wanted to gripe about. Oh yeah, and also, um, see, I want to talk around this in case of spoilers. Not necessarily for you. I know you're already past this point, but like in general. So everyone knows Keanu Reeves. So initially, you and Big Chungus are not very on good terms. And then there's a story beat where they're like, you know what? I changed my mind. Let's work together. However,
Big Chungus as in Keanu?
Correct.
Okay.
However, I didn't hit that story beat first because, again, the game opens up and there's a bunch of missions. So I just got into a car, like, from this thing where they're like, you and Keanu are at each other's throats. And then I got into my car and they're like, yeah, my friend. And it was like immediately afterwards. And I was like,
hold on.
what?
I want to hang on this point because I want to have a conversation with you about this.
Mm-hmm.
So are you talking about right after, once again, this isn't really spoilers because this was in the trailers, right after you steal the thing with Jackie and then everything that we knew was going to happen happens with Dex and all that shit? Are you referencing the moment where then you've like got Keanu and the game goes, here's like 3 main plot missions and you can go do whichever one you want to do first? In like any order? Is that the moment you're talking about? Because I experienced something very similar to you where you get Keanu, there's a story beat there in your apartment where you have kind of like a standoff with him.
Yes.
And then very abruptly after that, the dialogue is written in a way where you're just like chummy with him.
Yes.
And I was like, this feels very inorganic because they never, it like, for me, because I haven't been playing it. So for me, I don't even think I've hit the conversation where that's explained. I just had conversations with him where we were just talking like we were pals.
Yeah.
And I was like, but an hour ago, I was telling you to fuck off. So what's going on here? So I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, an hour ago you were actively trying to kill me.
Yes, and now it's like we're friends? Like it's very strangely handled.
It's super bizarre. And even like the quest where you get that beat is not the one you would. There is a quest literally in your same building as when you like you wake up in your apartment.
Yes.
You only have to go down a floor, and that one you're friends in that story beat. Whereas the one where it's explained is like down the street. And
I literally began to question the game, and I was like, is this some highbrow storytelling that's going on where they're trying to convey that, like, there doesn't have to be a conversation because I'm, like, my consciousness is blending with his, therefore, like, I'm not really talking to him so much as, like, this is just organically happening. Like, I was literally trying to piece it together in my head. I was like, did I miss something? Or is this just, like, a part of the story? But it really is fucked up where you can just walk into a conversation where you don't get any of that like prior shit to explain why you're friendly with him all of a sudden, but you just are. And then you get that shit later and it's very fucked up.
Yeah, so
That's awesome that you bring that up because I thought I was like insane and I was like, this is kind of doofy.
no, yeah, structurally, it is a big misstep, and it's kind of hilarious. And I'm even finding that while I'm still playing, is that I'm doing some missions and we're like more antagonistic, and then other missions were like way more friendly, and I'm not playing a certain way to make him more friendly or make him more antagonistic. But it just seems to happen at random, and so it's like clearly this isn't the intended order, but they opened it up. So yeah, as soon as the game,
That's like the thing about the game though, right? Is
yeah,
it's like because you get that even before you have him, where and this is kind of a mild complaint I have that's similar to what you're talking about, which is that like there's this moment in Cyberpunk where you start the game, you get through all your intro origin shit, and then you have a conversation with Jackie where he's like, "Yo, I hooked this up with Dex. We have a big job," and you're like, "Okay." And then that whole first district is just populated with side quests, and you can
hmm
just fuck off and do those for like 5 hours
yep,
and then hit the main plot. And by the time you hit the main plot, you're so giga leveled and have all these perks and shit that it's like kind of awkward. And I think it's the same issue with Keanu because you get him in your brain and then the game just does the same thing where it's like, well, here's like two more districts or like three more districts you can go to populated with side quests. We have dialogue written for Keanu because now he can show up when you're doing these because he's with you,
hmm
but they don't give a fuck about whether or not you did the main plot shit before you hit the like literally all the game needed to do was just railroad you a little bit more into the conversation, the main plot quest that has the conversation where that makes sense, and then open up and say, okay, now you can go to these other districts and do these side quests, and then the
yeah.
dialogue would make more sense, you know?
Because it reminds me, it's kind of like the GTA thing, the opening of districts, but GTA feels a lot more planned out because you're at like the right like level of gear. GTA doesn't have really RPG stuff, but you have like stuff where you can go in those areas and experience new things. Again, this one opens up and it's kind of like a double whammy of where it's like suddenly you becomes extremely overleveled for some quests, and then certain areas will just kill you, like just by
Yeah.
standing there, and there is absolutely no warning or information about that. You just walk into a place that is literally as accessible as any other place, and you go, oh, these shirtless men have skulls over their head and will kill me harder than those guys in armor.
Yeah.
That's just how it is now.
Because it's got that RPG like mob level kind of system going on, but it doesn't do. I mean, the only thing that it does to really warn you before you're there is show you on the map that like, okay, here's a side quest you can do, and it's like very hard or whatever, and it'll be colored like orange or something like that. But like and I mean that's kind of enough for me, I guess, because then I just don't go there and do that. You
Mm,
know what I mean? But
mm.
like, yeah, it is. It can be a little unclear. That's a complaint I've seen other people have too. Like I think even in the Cat video, he has a snippet where he brings that up, or maybe it was someone else I was watching, where they were like, yeah, it's really unclear sometimes if these enemies are your level or if they're not. Like, there's not a clear UI indicator as to whether or not they're gonna mouth fuck you until you realize that it's just like the color of that symbol over their head or some shit like that.
Yeah, that's literally it.
Yeah.
And I mean it is the setting too, because like with Cyberpunk, you never know who's air quotes modded, so that shirtless guy could be tougher than that dude in the bulletproof vest. But yeah, it's also rough from like a gameplay perspective when it's
Yeah.
like, why the hell is this guy so goddamn strong? And but yeah, besides those like major complaints, which it's yeah, that's so it's I like the gameplay, I like the atmosphere, I like the characters, but structurally the game is fucking weird. I'm even at this point where like there's a problem you have to solve, and this is the main plot line for the game, but I won't spoil it because I mean the entire prologue sets it up and blah 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 blah. But I'm already at the part where they're like, here are like 8 different ways we could solve this, and I feel like each quest can build to that, and I'm already like, well, shit, I don't know which one I want to start chipping away at. And it's going to lead to a thing where it's like I'm going to be like 7 beats in on one, and then I'm going to go back and do the other, and I'm going to be terribly overleveled for it. And I mean, they're already like continuity-wise fucking up. I feel like the relationship between me and Keanu. I have a feeling that's gonna, with other characters involved, it's going to just get way, way worse. Like by going back and doing an earlier quest on potentially
even
another
more
chain.
dialogue might not make sense and shit like that.
Yeah, there's
Because
like
of the order in which you're doing it.
exactly. And yeah, I feel like they didn't put enough thought into that because, again, like one of the first missions is like go to the car that's in the same building you currently are. You weren't supposed to do that first.
Yeah.
The easiest
I
and
think I know what you're
closest
talking
thing. You were not supposed to do that first. Whatever.
Even that whole, like, I mean, there's a lot of elements of design that feel kind of strange. Like, even that whole part where, like, once again, this isn't really a huge spoiler. It's like after you do the main first plot thing from the trailers, and then it's like you don't have a car, and it's like, oh yeah, people will call you and they'll be like they'll try to sell you a car, and it's like, okay, cool, and then they send you a message being like, here's a car you can buy, go buy it, and it's like, okay, but it's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And like I don't really want it, but then if you don't spend your money on it, you just don't have a car, so you're forced to use the fast travel system if you just want to save your money until you get like a better offer for something you actually care about. It's like some elements of the design are a little fucky and weird, and the pacing is kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
But like it's not game ruining. It's just a little strange.
Well,
Maybe it's elements that are rushed. I don't know, but it feels fucking weird.
And this I will spoil for anyone playing because this is just useful. You get your car wrecked, you instantly get offers for cars. Do not buy any of those. They all suck, and they're a huge waste of money. Instead, go to the place that you will die for sure and do the quest for Jackie's mom, and then you just get a vehicle for free that you could use until you get your car back.
I was
do
literally
that.
like, I had messaged Matt. It was funny because we were talking about Cyberpunk, and I messaged him, and I was like, because he was a little further than me at the time, and I had just gotten to the point where I was getting offers for vehicles, and I was like, is anyone ever gonna offer me like a bike? Because like I want a motorcycle or something, not knowing that if I just did the Jackie thing, that I would get something like that. And I went and I bought like a shit beater because I was like, I don't want to use the fucking fast travel system, dude. And I wasted money on that, and then I went and did that quest, and I was like, oh, well, fuck me.
You know what's the other crazy thing about that quest is you could turn down the bike. You can still get a generic version of the bike, but it's like at the end of the game for over $100,000.
Yeah.
And it's the
No,
generic.
I took that bike instantly.
Oh,
they were
yeah.
like, you can take the bike or not, and I was like, I'm gonna take that bike.
Yeah.
I'm taking that bike.
Also, the handling in the game is very strange.
Absolutely, vehicles do not control well. That's 100%.
Like
Bikes feel better than cars.
Yeah, bikes
that's why
feel a lot better.
Yeah.
I like bikes, but the
cars feel fucky. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
They don't handle well. It's not GTA.
No,
They
it's
feel a little
weird
stiff.
because it's like they handle very, very well, but like you have just like completely slick back tires. So like you start doing a turn and it's fine, and then like 2 seconds and you're fishtailing and you can't recover, and it's
Yeah.
just really weird feeling.
I find that I
Extremely.
really have to make use of like braking before I take turns and shit, because if I don't like really slow down, because like the handbrake feels kind of shitty a little bit. It's not like super easy to control.
Mhm.
It's just not. It's not good. It's not the best driving fucking system I've ever experienced in an open world game. Which is a little unfortunate when it feels like a huge part of the world is my ability to get vehicles and drive around, but the bikes feel good, so that's why I just stick to those.
Yeah. And the good bike is comparatively extraordinarily cheap. Anyway, so yeah, that was my Cyberpunk. If
We can conversate more maybe on like a spoiler cast when I finish it. You'll
yeah.
probably finish it before me if you keep plugging away because I've been playing other stuff, but when I finish it, we could talk more at length.
Yeah, I'm definitely plugging away. I'm probably after this podcast. That's just what I'm gonna do. Besides that, I started to watch The Expanse. Um,
How
loading
was
up.
that? I've been thinking about watching that actually. I've
It's
heard good.
pretty damn good, I gotta say. I'm not very far into it. I've watched like 3 episodes. But the world building is really solid. Um, they jump between kind of different events, but you can see, or at least you can guess at how they're linked. If they're linked, I think they are. And it's like they did the good thing where it's like there's multiple factions and like each group of people are like directly tied to a specific faction, except for the last group, which is kind of like a hodgepodge. So you get to see all that like play out. Every story beat, something happens. Like who is really quickly to like jump to their allegiance, or is the person next to them more important? And it really like fills in kind of the world and things of that nature. And it's good. It's very very good so far, and so far there's a very neat sci-fi thing in it that I haven't even like ever considered in like millions other sci-fi settings, where it's like there are people born out especially essentially just in space, and they will literally die under Earth's gravity because they've just been in zero G their entire lives and like for generations. So to the point where they where Earth uses it as a form of torture.
Nice.
You just hang out in low orbit and suffer because you can't even stand. And it's it's really neat. I recommend it so far, but I'm only 3 episodes in, so it could all go to shit.
I'll fall
We'll
apart.
find out. Stay tuned, because
I was interested in The Expanse when I was watching some like Red Letter Media Star Trek shit, and I think Mike had said in a video that he was watching it and that it was good, and I was like, oh, this is the guy that's like a Star Trek nut and clearly likes sci-fi, so if he's saying it's good, maybe I should pay attention to this show.
yeah,
I
so far the world building is on fucking point, and the characters I'm not like. There's not anyone I super love yet, but it's fine. It's fine so far. There's no one I hate, so that's good enough for me. The world is interesting. The events are interesting. I'll eventually like a character. And yeah, that was basically my week. Those were the 2 things that I did.
Cool beans. Anyone else, or should I go?
Go.
I'll go. Fuck it. I didn't do a lot. Much like last week, I kind of struggled to actually even think of what to talk about. The only thing I can think of, because I didn't really watch anything, I don't think, unless I'm forgetting. I played a lot of Dota. I actually haven't really touched Tarkov all week, but I've been, for some strange reason, instead of playing Cyberpunk or any of the massive amount of games that I should be playing, am instead replaying Revengence for the last few days, and I don't really know why.
I know why.
I had the feeling of doing it for like a little while now. I don't remember what it was that made me think about doing it, but it's been like a few weeks where I was like, I haven't played Revengence in like years, and I kind of want to just do a playthrough and just see if it. I think it might have been back when I was playing like DMC3 in the HD collection, and I was like, I kind of want to do a playthrough of Revengence and just see if it holds up to all these other games I've been playing, both like DMC3 that came before it, and the fact that like 5 has been out now for a while, and I was just like, I wanna experience Revengence again, you know, because it's like fucking, it's a great game. I liked it at the time when I played it. I want to see if it holds up. So, and then you sent me, we were talking about Lancer last week, and you sent me that video of that guy talking about Atlas, and he has that clip of Revengence in the beginning, where he has like a short clip of the Metal Gear Ray fight, and I was like, yeah, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. So I installed it, and I started playing it, and I can happily say that game is still fucking amazing. And even having played DMC3 recently, DMC5 having come out like what, a year ago, two years ago now, maybe, which is crazy to say that it's already been like 2 years, I think, because it wasn't it early 2019. I don't remember, but anyway, it still fucking holds up. It's a really great game. It's got some things about it that sort of show its age. It's a game that came out around that time, and I think you'll know what I'm talking about the second I say it. But it came out around that time where QTEs were a huge thing. So there's like a shitload of QTEs all throughout Revengence, like RE4 style fucking QTEs. It's just like of that period where everyone was shoving QTEs in their game, and like Space Marine was ending its fucking last boss fight with QTEs and shit like that around that time period. They're not bad. I don't think they're like the best usage of QTEs I've ever experienced. Like I think games like RE4 did it much better, but like shit like that kind of shows its age. Shit like some of the boss fights they're not some of the boss fights in Revengeance are some of my favorite boss fights of all time, and they're part of why I think Revengeance is still my favorite character action game of all time, because there's just something about the gameplay mixed with the visuals, mixed with the soundtrack, that's all going on at the same time in a boss fight that makes shit like Mistral's fight one of my favorite boss fights in a character action game, period. If not like my favorite, because it's awesome. But then you have, on the flip side, you have shit like Sundowner's fight, which is okay, but it's kind of annoying because like you fight him, but at the start there's like a helicopter like UG in the background that like you have to deal with, and then like he calls in dudes and he just has like these ads, but they don't feel like good ads. Like Mistral's fight has ads, but they feel like a part of the fight and they're not annoying in the way that like Sundowner's ads kind of are. They're not a huge deal because you can deal with them pretty easily, but like it's shit like that where there's some strange design decisions. Also, the game's pacing is completely fucked up. This is old news to anybody that's played it, but like it really takes a shit in like the last quarter of the game, because you go from like typical character action game to like one chapter that's just a boss fight. Like at the snap of a finger, it's just, here's a chapter. We dedicated a whole chapter to just one encounter, which is the Jetstream Sam fight, spoiler alert. And then after that, it's like not great combat encounters right into Armstrong, and then the game ends. And before that, it's like a decently paced character action game, and then at that point, it just kind of takes a shit. There's other things like the parry being a little OP in hindsight, where it's like it's not that difficult to block enemy attacks. Your defensive options are kind of strong in Revengeance, and you can get so upgraded to the point where like the higher difficulty levels aren't really that hard once you've done like 1 or 2 playthroughs and have all the upgrades. And yet, I would still say I'm almost done with it. On this particular playthrough, I don't know if I'm going to do it again on the higher difficulties. I might. I would still say that it's probably my favorite character action game of all time. I think games like DMC5 is kind of a triumph. I think it's fucking fantastic. I still think it comes in like just under Revengeance, just because Revengeance is like, there's shit about it that's fucked up, but everything comes together in a way that just makes it amazing. Like what's going on screen, the gameplay is fun, and the soundtrack with what's happening during the action of the boss fights is just like a perfect mishmash of shit that just like falls together to make it very satisfying to play. The story is fucking bonkers and kind of horseshit. There's like, I forgot about how like elements of that game's plot make literally zero sense. How the opening of the game is like Sundowner and Desperado come to kill prime minister of some African nation. Sundowner gets him, and then for some reason does not kill him on the spot, even though that's entirely his plan, and instead leads Raiden on a chase through a city so that you have to fight Ray to get to him. get on a train where
So that
Sundowner
he
just
can
kills him
then
anyway.
Kill him on the spot.
Yes. And has him chained to a container for like literally zero reason.
To
It's
cut him
completely
off,
unclear.
to cut him down before
Yes.
he kills him.
Cuts him down for dramatic effect, making you think he's gonna like take his head off or something, but doesn't. Just hits the chains, gets him down, then kills him in dramatic fashion, just so you can fight Sam on a moving train. It's just a vehicle to get you to train to fight Sam on train. It makes no sense. But the game is still fucking awesome and I love it. It still absolutely holds up. And I don't think I don't know. The things about it that didn't age particularly well are not enough for me to say that I dislike it over like most other character action games that I've played. So it absolutely still gets 2 thumbs up from me, and I think it's still my favorite character action game of all time. Above even things like DMC5 or like Ninja Gaiden 2, which come in pretty close, but don't quite hit the same points for me for whatever reason. It's my fucking aesthetic, and I love the soundtrack, and everything that's going on screen is fucking incredible in Revengence. It's fun to play. The mechanics that are there, even though some of them are a little jank, are fucking fantastic. So like I still give that game 2 big fucking thumbs up, and that's like pretty much all I did. I think I've just been playing Revengence and Dota. I don't think I did anything else. I'm like racking my brain to remember if I have anything else interesting to talk about, but I don't think I do. So that might be me.
I could go next. I'm gonna be quicker than probably both of you. I did nothing. I played Dota. Um, I'm kind of the one responsible for having Brandon play Dota more. Just because, I don't know, I'm kind of in the hole again. I just like Dota.
It's okay. You're allowed.
And I want to play Dota. Granted, there are some problems with this patch. Like Riki, my favorite hero.
I really don't want to play against Ricky ever again.
But
listen, you are never. I was thinking about this the other day after we had that Clown Fiesta game with the Ricky in it, where I was like, and then I remember being like, in that moment when he killed us all, I remember being like, "Fuck Ricky, I hate Ricky this patch." And you were like, "Listen, he's OP, but don't talk shit about my favorite hero." And in the back of my mind, after we got done playing that game and you had left, I thought to myself, this is the same guy that was talking shit about Jug, like all through last Battle Pass and saying that Omni Slash is like Giga OP and that this hero needs a nerf. But now Ricky's fucked up and he doesn't want me talking shit about Ricky, even though he's like 10 times worse. He's so much worse.
My boy.
He's so much worse than Juggernaut ever was or is.
My boy.
He's so fucking OP.
Listen, Dota's been out for what? How many years? Ricky needs his time in the fucking spotlight, all right?
You realize Ricky's had his time in the spotlight before, though, right? This isn't the first patch where he's been busted. I'm pretty sure there were other patches. I've seen people talk about it. I heard a caster in a pro game the other day. They were talking about someone playing Ricky in one of the matches, and he was like, the way Ricky goes is either he's absolute dog shit or he's like, you ban him every time. And that's how he is in every fucking patch. Either you ignore him or he's OP, and this happens to be a patch where he's fucking busted. And he's not just pub stomping; he's good at the fucking pro level too, because he's busted.
Because he requires very little actual skill.
It's true. In his current iteration, yes. In previous iterations, I would have disagreed with you, but in this one, yes, he's absolutely fucking a brain dead hero.
But yeah, I've been having Brandon play more Dota because I want to play more Dota. Because Dota is good. Dota is life. Dota is better than League. That's a fact. Not even an opinion.
Yeah, that's objective, not subjective.
Besides that, and because I've been playing Dota, I haven't been really playing Tarkov. I have fiddled. I have played a little bit of Endless Legend and Endless Space 2. I reinstalled them and turned them on. Have you seen like I guess like their some type of anniversary? It's like 10 years or some shit. They're like rebranding, quote unquote.
Hmm.
What do you mean?
And by the I mean just like they changed the logo of like their endless. Like now their N is like more like a continuous sign. And
Yeah, I see that. Why'd they do that?
I think they're releasing a new game. It's God, what is it? It's like Dungeons of the Endless, but it's a new game. God, I forgot what it's called.
Interesting.
And they're
Is it
putting out
literally called Endless Dungeon?
yeah,
Because I
yep,
see
there you
it
go.
in. Okay.
Yeah.
Weird.
And they're putting out two DLCs, one for Endless Space 2, one for Endless Legend. I mean, they're just like campaign packs, like nothing major. I think they're only like $3 or something. But they put those out. So that's kind of cool. I've always been a fan of those games. I like those games.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
What, Endless Space and shit like that? Yeah,
Yeah.
they're amazing. Frankly, I'm kind of disappointed in humankind. Not because it will. I don't think it's gonna be bad. It's probably gonna be good. It's just not what I want.
Mm.
I would have rathered like another Endless Space or like a new. I would have rathered a new Endless Legend, to be honest. Take everything they learned from the first one and Endless Space 2 and apply it to like a new Endless Legend game. That would have been sick. But instead,
I
they
was,
want Civ bucks, so they're
yeah.
making
I
humankind.
was I
Civ
was
Bucks
like
is
again,
big bucks.
I've been playing Endless Legend more because honestly I played that one like way less than Endless Space.
Yeah.
I like the game. It's fucking solid. I like the story.
Endless Legend's good. It's not a game without its faults,
Yeah,
though, which is
obviously.
why I really would have liked a second one. Because I think my biggest issue with Endless Legend is kind of its combat. Because it feels like it could have been amazing, but it falls short a little bit. Where it's like it's not particularly well designed, and it's not like super intuitive. It's not easy to control like your units and get them to do what you want. The concept of like army meets army and then it becomes like a hex grid based tactical battle is turn-based tactical battle is very cool in theory, but it doesn't work out that well.
Mm.
It doesn't play super great. It feels kind of clunky.
Yeah, especially with the terrain, it could get to be annoying because like half your army will start on a hill with forests and then have no movement points.
Yeah, it's not just
But
that either. It's stuff like that. I'm sure you've experienced this. I don't know how much you've been playing, but it's something I've experienced a lot in my time playing the game where it's like it just doesn't feel particularly well designed in the sense that it's like units have initiative or whatever, so that determines turn order. But then it's like if I tell my units the problem with the game is that it's not like a unit goes, you tell them what to do. Then the next unit goes, you tell them what to do. Then the next unit goes, it's an enemy's unit, they tell the unit what to do. It's not like that. It's like you assign all your orders. You obviously know this, but I'm saying this for anybody who doesn't know. It's like you assign all your orders, and then the turn starts, and they just play out. And the
yeah,
problem with that is that you run into these situations where it's like, I tell 4 of my units to attack that thing. Unfortunately, my first 2 units kill it. Then my next 2 just like don't have an order, so they autopilot, and sometimes that can cause them to do shit that you really don't want them to do, and can
yeah.
put them in really disadvantageous situations that totally fucks you, and it really sucks. It just doesn't feel well designed. Like literally that one simple fix of like treat it like an actual turn-based thing where it's like, okay, I tell the thing what to do. I tell the thing what to do. The next unit goes, next unit goes, instead of just assigning everything and then just having it play out. Like it feels shitty to me. I never liked that.
Yeah, but I agree. But I really dig the story elements and the factions feel very different and fleshed out.
They've always been good at that though. That's one of the great things about Amplitude, I think, right? Isn't that who
Yeah.
makes those games? Yeah, they're great at that. They've been better at it since Endless Legend. And Endless Space 2 is a great example of it as well. They're very good at making like races play very differently.
I've been playing God, what are they called? The little fire dudes from the Inferno expansion.
Yeah, I have not played them yet. You gave me that DLC, I think, like
They're
a year
good.
ago or more, and I haven't tried it. Because I think at the same time you also gave me the He Show DLC, and I played that instead, and I never turned Endless Legend on.
They're good. I don't know if that's like the, you know, popular opinion, but I've been playing them and they're like starter unit, the fucking Stone Sentinel is absolutely retarded. It's very good. And like the concept of like creating the volcanic terrain and getting the bonuses on, it's very cool. They also don't need they have like a lesser need of like food or something, but the volcanic terrain like becomes like very production heavy, so their cities get pretty big quickly.
Interesting.
They're very cool. I wanna try to play more the fish people because I never really played them.
The Fish People are OP. I played the Fish People a pretty fair amount when that DLC came out because I was very excited about them. Unless they've been nerfed, they were busted. And I think they still are. Because I think I watched something on Endless Legend recently on YouTube where the person, it was like a review or something, and the person said that they're still fucking OP. They're kind of gross.
And then I haven't really tried the plant people yet from the last expansion.
Yeah, I never played them either.
They seem cool though. I like the whole concept of like the one city build. But my all-time favorite, just from a lore fucking perspective, Broken Lords, dude, are so fucking cool.
Yeah, they're cool. I don't like their aesthetic
See, I
as
love
much.
their aesthetic.
I mean, I'm in Endless Space 2, the Vodyani are probably my favorite race aesthetically, and they're basically Broken Lords, but just cooler, in my opinion. And in
It's just the
space.
I mean, yeah, basically. I like the Voidiani a lot too. And Endless Space 2. Very hard to play. I'm not great at it, but they are like the coolest lore-wise in my opinion.
I
But I
mean,
just like that
I like
concept of like fucking dudes in suits that consume dust, and when they can't get the dust, they just eat souls. It's just so cool.
yeah.
They're soul vampires, but like I like the dichotomy of like their character because like they were super noble knights who protected like the innocent and honor and all that shit. And now they're literally like,
What's
well, we could
vampirism?
just eat souls.
But isn't that part of their story is that you can take them either way? Is that they don't have to be like dickhead soul eaters. They
Like
can
the
still uphold like
I think the
the
whole point of the story is yeah, like finding a way to break like the curse or some shit. And so they don't have to eat souls to survive.
See, I like their Broken Lords are cool, but I've always liked Vodyani a lot because they're literally just Dark Eldar, if you really think about it.
What?
They're basically just Dark Eldar. They don't colonize. They show up on a big ass ship, which is a little more akin to a craft world than anything Dark Eldar would do. But they show up on some ships, they come down, they raid, they leave, and that's about it. When you dock a ship on a system, the Vodyani are not literally colonizing it. They're
True.
just raiding it. They're fucking Dark Eldar, which is why I love them. It's like someone at fucking Amplitude was like, what if we just put Dark Eldar in? But we have to change
What
them
if
up
we
a little bit
made
because
Dark Eldar out of fire?
We're gonna
yeah,
make them super religious.
yeah, they have a religious bent, and it's technically not soul vampirism; it's nanomachine stuff. But like, whatever. They're clouds of dust in suits, and they need essence, quote unquote, from people. They're fucking Dark Eldar. They operate like Dark Eldar. Hell, aesthetically, they almost look like Dark Eldar in some pieces of art.
It's
Like, I
I
love it.
really like the Voidiani as well. I'm also a big fan of the Hisho. I like Hisho.
I like Hisho a lot too.
Just
Hisho are probably my second favorite.
Japanese / Aztec fucking Bushido warriors that are also giant birds. Like that's kind of
We put
awesome.
ostriches in the gladiatorial pits, and they came out like this.
Whoops.
It's just I like the whole like, yeah, we're like space samurais, but we also do blood sacrifices
I
to the
gotta,
sun god.
I gotta say, I don't think that there's a single race in Endless Space 2 that I don't like.
Yeah, they're all cool. They
They're
all have
all
an
really
interesting
cool.
kind of.
I'm
They've
not
all got cool
the
quirks.
biggest fan of the last race they put in.
The
The
Nephil, the Nakalim, or whatever
yeah,
they're
the
called.
Nakalim or whatever.
I like them lore wise and like aesthetically. I think they're very cool. I think mechanically they're kind of annoying, and I don't enjoy playing them.
I
But they
want
look cool.
fucking where are the amoeba? Where are the amoeba at?
Aren't they a minor race in Endless
Yes,
Space
they
2?
are.
Yeah, they're no, that's not
And
happening.
and
Though
and the pilgrims as well.
then again, so were Hisho, I think, and then they made them a major race with the DLC and changed the name
Surprised
of
there's
the
no
minor faction.
I'm surprised there's no Harmony as a major faction.
Oh yeah, I had to honestly. That's why they're not, because I had to rack my brain to remember who you were even talking about.
You want to know who I'm really actually upset about that's not in Endless Space 2? The Sowers. They were like one of my favorites in Endless Space 1.
Yeah, I never liked them that much, but they were cool. I would not count them amongst my favorites, but yeah, they would have been nice to have them. And a big complaint people have with Endless Space 2 is that there's not enough weird, like alien races. Everything is kind of like humanoid for the most part,
I
which
was
is
gonna say, like, there's
why
a lot of alien races. Like,
no
Yeah,
playable, like
there are
playable
literal
factions. They're all
trees,
humanoid.
and geometry is another one. Fire suit cyborg people, like, just because it's like human shaped ish doesn't mean it's like.
It's a big complaint the community's
the,
had that
I
they're
mean, yeah,
all like humanoid in shape.
Rift. I don't know. Riftborn, I guess, are humanoid, but they're more like robots. The fucking Unfallen are just tree people.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's not about what they are. It's about do they take on like a humanoid form?
They're not amoeba. What you're saying is more amoeba.
Yes. A big part of the community wants shit like amoeba, which is why we got Umbral Choir as a DLC. That was literally part of the community vote for that faction. Was like, will they be like one of the votes was one of the polls was like, will they be humanoid? Will they take on some other strange shape and form? And people massively outvoted humanoid in favor of something strange, and we wound up with Umbral Choir, which I think, honestly, my favorite races in that game are like Vodyani are probably number one. I just love the lore, and I do like the way they play. Hisho coming in number two. Number three, hands down, is Umbral Choir, and all three of them are pretty fucking neck and neck, to be honest. But Umbral Choir are fucking sick.
I need more practice with Umbral Choir. I played them a tiny bit. I really like the stealth. I like how their home system's like hidden and can move and shit.
The one problem with Umbral
love
Choir,
the Cravers, but I'm terrible with them.
the one problem with Umbral Choir that you'll run into is late in a campaign they become kind of a grind because you're not playing the same game as everyone else, and so it starts to get kind of boring where it's like, okay, my game plan is just hack and hack and hack and hack, and unless you like go to get involved in wars and shit, you're kind of just sitting there hacking for like 200 turns until you hopefully win like a supremacy victory or something, or like a scientific victory, and it can get kind of boring if you're not into it. But they're fun. Conceptually, I like them because they're the most Lovecraftian shit in Endless Space 2. 100%. And I think the gameplay of like no one knows where you start is so creepy and interesting that like you can be on people's homeworlds and they'll never know.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
I really like the gameplay of the Voidiani, but the problem is like they're so hit or miss, and I'm not good with them.
I've beaten a campaign with them. They are hit or miss. There's a random factor to your start that can kind of fuck you, but you can get around it. It's just you might start slower than normal. I'd be shit if I tried to play them now because I haven't turned Endless Space 2 on in fucking forever.
And then Hisho or OP apparently.
Hisho are absolutely OP. I dominated the campaign I played as Hisho, and it was fun doing it. But like, if you snowball with Hisho, you are gross, and no one will win a war against you as long as you have enough of your Naruto chakra resource.
A key or Kai, whatever the fuck, I don't know. I think my only problem with that resource is that like it's tied to your approval. So it could just
Yeah.
sit high and all your planets are putting out like extra fids.
Yeah, that's why it's fucking busted. But then if you use it to like win a war and stomp some fights with your abilities, it tanks your approval. That's like the give and take.
Yeah, but
honestly,
you're so strong when you win the battle, you just get more of it. Like
yeah. I don't know. I had moments in my campaign playing against the AI where I used it sometimes a little too much and it would kind of fuck my approval up, but then I'd always wind up getting it back. And I think I was playing on like hard or something like that.
something like I understand Endless Space 2, its gameplay, like what type of game it is. Something that's always like been a really cool thing I've liked about Endless Space is like which they haven't really touched on because again, the type of game it is. I really like the concept of the ground battles.
Yes.
Not that they're good in like the terms of the game, but like when you look at the concept art of the game and like the idea of like Hisho like literally just not even shooting, they just take out fucking dust katanas and run at the enemies in like power armor. That shit's so cool. Like I just like the fucking concept of it.
Yeah, he's sure playing Revengeance.
Yeah.
And that's kind of cool, even though there is art of them with guns and shit too. So it's
Oh
not
yeah.
like they don't do that.
The same like Voidyani, they go around with like fucking spears and shit, and they're in that like black fucking
Yeah.
power armor. Like it's cool aesthetically.
Vidani and some of the art literally have raiders, which is why I referenced them as being Dark Eldar. You can see some of their vehicles look like Halo Warthogs, but they hover. Like they're literally like Venoms from 40K. And they have jet bikes and shit. Like that's it's so obvious that who someone at Amplitude was like, we like 40K a lot, so let's jack some Dark Eldar art style for the Vidani. It's not like the fucking what's the name of the some generic fucking name. The human faction that can become like Sheridan and shit like that in their storyline. What are they called? The Imperium?
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Just the Empire.
The Empire, yeah. It's not like they're not obviously a fucking stand-in for like the Imperium and 40K.
Wait,
like
is
they
that
clearly are.
their story? Isn't the Sheridan separate from the like?
No, you
isn't
didn't know that?
No, actually, because I've never like beaten an Empire campaign.
If you play their campaign, I haven't either. Well, I've played some of it, I think, but if you do their storyline, they eventually have the option to split and become like you shape essentially their political like ideologies, and they can either stay as like what they start as, or they can become like the Sheridan from game one and shit like that, depending on
because I always
which way
thought
you go.
like the Sheridan were just like a kind of separate yet. Weren't they like the merchant police of the Empire in the first game?
I don't remember. All I know is that in the second game, maybe they threw that out. I don't know, but in the second game, you can become like the Sheridan via your story quest if you choose to do so.
Yeah, Endless Space 1, like I played the Empire a lot because the Empire were, in my opinion, very, very fucking busted in Endless Space 1.
I believe they still are in 2. I've heard people say that they're very strong. I wouldn't know because I don't think I've ever completed a campaign.
All I can recall is the game we never finished with BB when he was playing Harmony. And I think you were Hisho too.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah, I was Hisho. I remember that. It was gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
I was blackmailing Sean because Sean was playing the Sophons. He was next to me, and I was like, "Listen, man, give me some of that science, bro. Look at this, like, however many 1,000-point strong fleet. Just give me some science, dude." And Sean was feeding me science.
Here, like,
we were
right,
on the cusp
BB's
of war
nuts.
with BB.
Like, yeah, as BB usually does in these games, he snowballs, and it's like, all right. And I looked at because you could like look at the shit. Like you look at like the fleet power. His like fleets were insane, but the reason why they were insane is because he had so many bad ships and all I had was like
Yeah.
maybe like 2 or 3 ships, fleets of ships, but they were all like the max tiered ships, and I just fended off waves and waves of rocks.
Yeah,
I'm like, Brandon, help me.
he was spamming poo fleets, and I had like a giga fleet on the way to help you, and we were all gonna like team up. I don't know what the fuck Sean was gonna do, but we were all teaming up to stop BB. And by we all, I mean you and me.
Because I was Empire, and their focus was more dust in the first game than what it is now with like influence and industry. I just built these ships and then just like instant built them with dust, and I just kept doing that. I'm like, Brandon, out.
I do.
Help.
I kind of miss those days of playing like Endless Space 1 and just seeing like who's gonna coax who into war first. It was like the good old days of playing Civ. I'll never forget that one Civ game we played where I think I was playing, I don't remember who I was playing, but I started off on like my own continent with some AI faction, and you and BB started on like a small island.
He was playing fucking Aztecs and I was playing the British.
Yeah, and on like turn 10, you guys went to war because one of you settled somewhere. I think like you settled somewhere. BB didn't want you to settle, and he was like, "What the fuck?" I was gonna go there, and then like you guys just started fighting, and I'm on my continent, just like I can't see it, but I'm just hearing you guys talk shit to each other as you're murdering each other's troops like over and over again for turns on a small island. And then we stopped. I don't think we finished that.
No, it was nuts, dude. Fucking the Aztec, they're fucking so good in the early game with their fucking like Jaguar warriors or some shit. And I was getting kind of stomped, but I had a nice position behind a mountain where I just kind of like built like forts or whatever. And then once I tiered up, I got the English longbowmen, and then once I got those longbowmen, he literally couldn't pass the line. Then we sat there for fucking like 100 turns in a stalemate until I think his tech just started out teching me, and then he got like guns, and then I think he pushed me back. But yeah, that was a crazy ass game.
It's always you two in those games that wind up going to war with each other. I don't know why. Maybe it's because you secretly hate each other. I don't know.
I don't know.
I just look back and I think about all the moments where wars erupted in all of our 4X games, and I'm like, it's usually those two come into some sort of conflict.
Nah, you get
Well,
in
I'm in the corner
contact.
blackmailing Sean for his
You
science.
get in conflict with BB a lot too. Honestly, I think the main the main thread is whoever's going to war is going to war with BB, because if he doesn't, he wins.
I just never trust BB. That's the problem in those games. I never trust him. He's like a little.
The thing is too, like BB's like good at these types of games, so he usually snowballs in like every game. So he has to go to war with someone.
Yeah, I think I can keep up with him in some games. Like I think I can give him a run for his money in like Endless Space 2. Stellaris, he's got me beat because I don't play that and I don't know anything about it. Some other stuff he'd probably shit on me. Endless Space 2, I think I maybe keep up, but it's also like your start can fuck you. Like there's an RNG aspect to those games too, which dictates it's gonna snowball, and then you have to deal with that as the game goes on, which is half the fun.
But it's enough
how many
time.
How many of us have Endless Space 2?
I think all of us.
And we all do.
I don't think I have Endless Space 2.
No, you don't. It's out of my friends. You, me, BB, Anthony, Sean.
Huh.
So not all of us.
Most of us.
Maybe one of these days we should play Endless Space 2.
I will so fucking play Endless Space 2.
See who snowballs, who declares war on who first.
And this kind of gets to like the Total War debate. I like playing these types of games with my friends. It's just my friends don't like playing these types of games.
I like playing them. I just get kind of fatigued sometimes because it's like if we want to finish it, we got to play it a lot, and then like sometimes the annoying thing is like the game will just take a shit. That's a problem with the endless games is like the turn desync sometimes, which I think is still an issue. So you can get like really far into a campaign and then it won't matter because on like turn 150 it'll just be like, well, you can't end turn anymore.
Then
shit
we
like that
forgot to
scares
save
me.
for 50 turns. Yeah.
But, I mean, I could try one of these days if we wanted to play for fun.
I'm down. I'll do it.
Yeah, I'm down. I enjoy Endless Space too. I'm not particularly great at it, but
I'm gonna be shit too because I haven't played in fucking forever. I'll have to reacclimate. And I won't play. I won't even practice until we play games. I'll just be shit.
I mean, I'll stop playing. Not that I played a fuck ton. I just turned it on, read the factions, started like a Voidyani game. It didn't even like colonize a second planet. That's as far as I got. But that's me. That was my week. We
That
rambled
went on
about
for a long fucking
endless.
time.
I remember you started that being like, it won't take that long.
Well, here's the
Here we
thing.
were
When you,
rambling.
when you think about what I did, it didn't take long. It's just what we talked about after. So, are we a light news week anyway?
for the most part, yeah.
Kind of. There's some topics I could talk about, but
But whatever, Robbie.
Let's see. For my week mostly compiled of this new game, Skull Slayer of Heroes.
I see that because Steam recommends it to me every day.
Oh,
How it
yeah,
be?
their 1.0 came out. I've been playing a lot of these fucking indie roguelikes that have their full release come out. I'm like, I'm actually having a lot of fun with them. And I gotta say, actually really enjoying the game. And working on D&D shit mostly. My other campaign is going swimmingly well.
Nice.
And I had a real great session. Everyone very happy with it. So I actually had a really solid last session. Very happy about it. It's very rare you get everyone very happy with a session. It was one of those sessions. So I'm very happy.
Are you very happy with it?
Yes, I'm very happy with it.
I'm very happy with it too. That
Thank
was a
you.
great session. I didn't even play. It was great.
Such
Exactly.
a great session. We used to play sessions, but not anymore. It's dead and gone.
Anyone
There was
can
a
run, I'll
session
play.
here. It's
I'm
gone
game.
now.
I'm game to play.
It's gone. It's gone to the wind.
Where's our Lancer game, Rob?
I don't know, Rich. You want to run it?
It's dead and gone.
No, I can't. I'm too busy. You, on the other hand, not busy.
I
already made
refuse to run Lancer. I need to play it.
We've been over this many times. I ain't running shit online. I'll wait until Rona's over. And then maybe I'd run something. And even then, that's a very tentative maybe.
Give me my Black Crusade, Brandon.
A very tentative.
Give me my Black Crusade, Brandon.
Very tentative.
My plan of telling you guys to make characters first for Shadowrun has gone off without a hitch. I'm free of that curse.
That's true.
Oh,
Look
well,
how
you're
everyone
not
forgot.
free.
No, I'm
What?
pretty free. I'm gonna jinx myself right now by saying that was
Yeah,
free.
basically.
that was a
You're never
bold
free.
move.
All you got to do is say you're free. You're the one who was going to run it in the first place. So everyone could make characters and you could still be like, nah, but I'm free though. And I'm not going to do it.
No lie, I actually am still tooling shit for that. I am semi prepared for whenever, and then it'll go to shit probably in a week or two after that. But
Well, don't worry. It's been how many
1
months
week.
since we had the conversation about that? And I still have not actually looked at the book
Me neither.
to make a character. So
I read all of Lancer. I guess that's another thing of my week is that
Lancer's easy though, and it's
well,
not that big.
I don't mean
Well,
rules. Like I just read the book.
like Lancer doesn't have a lot of rules.
And
Sure, I
they're not terribly contradictory to themselves either.
They're very easy to understand.
I skimmed the Lancer when Anthony sent me the core book after last podcast. And in my skimming, I was like, wow, some of this is very narrative, bordering on like World of Darkness levels of we don't need rules for this. Like how there's no currency and death barely matters, and you just get all your shit back if it explodes for
Yeah, because
free. And I was
everything just
like,
gets
okay,
3D printed at your
I
local
see, I see
Starbucks.
what's happening. We're vampire now. I get it. Very, very loose.
Yeah, it's very simple. But back to my point, Rob, you got all the free time, man. Where's our Lancer game?
Not happening.
Look at Anthony. Look at his eyes. Look in his eyes. He needs it, Rob. He needs robots.
D&D is dust in the wind.
I do need robots, but I'm patient for robots.
Shut the fuck
You know
up,
how
Anthony.
many
You're not patient.
you know how many years I've waited for Armored Core 6 and I'm still waiting.
He can't wait no longer, Rob. He needs his robots.
We'll all be 60 years old, and then Rob will be like, I'll run, Lancer. Now I'll do it.
And on that day I die.
I'll play.
Actually, yeah, Rob.
hope
We'll be
not.
60. Rob will be in like his mid-50s or whatever, and then we'll all just die. The
I made
day
it very
he's
clear,
like, yeah.
I will play. I will not run.
Yeah, that's the same
That's
thing.
selfish, man.
I just don't like in RPGs I don't really like the concept of bestiaries, and the fact that Lancer has one really fucking rustles my jimmies.
Why? Because you can't play mech designer as the person running the game.
More or less.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know I still can, but I won't.
So I have a question before we get on to the news or the end of Rob's week. Why is it that you can't have like mech to mech like do the rules not support utilizing the player mechs for adversaries? Is that not something you can do?
Not really.
Why
Why
not?
not?
I think it's just because of kind of how crazy player mechs can get with just like a certain bit of license tweaking. Like,
But you can't do that. You can't be. So do the rules not support being like, okay, there's an enemy team of pilots, and here's
No,
one that's in an Atlas,
I
and
mean,
here's one that's in a, and
yeah,
then you fight them. Like,
it would be rough. Just mechanically, it would be rough. Because of just the game is very hard rock paper scissors, and even like all the NPC classes are very they're either extremely generalized or they're like hyper niche, and it's all because of how crazy focused or generalized the player mechs can get, is that you have this large pool of like kind of pre-made and then templates to modify them with like different skills and whatnot. But I think the system would seriously struggle if like with PC versus PC, just because of just the insane shit that you can do. Like it's like rock paper scissors, but there's only like two options. So it's like, yeah, you could make a mech to fight PCs. The mechanics support it, but depending on how you make it, odds are it would just nullify half of the team and be cripplingly weak to the other half of the team.
it's just like it's one thing that struck me as odd when I was skimming through the Lancer book, because I had asked you this like off podcast, just in messages. I was like, so does the game not support literally the same thing I just asked you now? I was like, can you not take like a fucking Atlas or like a fucking Barabosa or whatever and just be like, oh, there's a adversarial pilot that's in this, and you fight them and you fight their team and whatever of mechs that are the same mechs you have access to, but they're NPCs in the mechs. And you were like, no, you can't do that. And in my mind I was like, but how does that work in setting? Like, is every enemy just, if they're piloting something that's akin to a mech, is it some completely different off-brand mech that players don't have access to?
Kind of
Yeah.
the whole concept of you being a Lancer is like you are kind of special above everyone else.
But the lore seems to be written in such a way where it's like there are other atlases. It's like a line of mechs that get utilized by numerous people, right? So it's like, how do you use that in lore if you can't have other people who might be hostile toward you piloting this thing that you also have access to? You know what I mean? Like, how come that doesn't work?
In lore, I could think of two ways to kind of fix that. It's that the entire bestiary is just Everests of various flavors, because they didn't get to the upper crust that you did. Or B is you take one of the templates that they give you that is very, very similar, and you just go, oh, he's in an Atlas.
Okay. I mean, I guess that's one way you could do it. It was just something that struck me as odd reading the book, where I was like, I'm supposed to be sold on the idea that these mechs are not, it's not like there's one Atlas in the universe. There's
Correct.
like supposed to be a line of these, and such is the same for all of these mechs. But it's like, how do you portray that if the system doesn't allow you to interact with other people in these robots? But I don't know.
Well, again, the system doesn't disallow you from doing it. There's nothing in the rules saying that I can't
Right,
do it.
but
But
you're
it just
implying it would be messy and shitty if you did.
mechanically, yeah, it would be. It wouldn't be very fun because half the team would not be able to do anything, and then half the other team would just like be like, "What? This is it?" It's like extremely hard to balance. Which I mean, Richie went on explaining how it's already kind of hard to balance by like license level 7, and the game goes up to like license level 12. So it only gets worse. So if you're introducing PC stuff to that, it's going to be worse, which isn't a word, but now it is.
All right, well,
Don't
I
worry.
got my answer.
Rob has given up on us.
You know, he hasn't given up on
D&D is
the
dust in the wind.
fucking news.
Nix will never get to bone an anime waifu that used to be a duck, as per our headcanon.
Oh, we were gonna restart that game at some point.
Are we?
Maybe.
I mean, I don't know about now. I just thought that was always the plan.
I've heard no word from anyone, so I'm going off nothing. I just thought Rob said he didn't want to run anything. Anyway.
You done with your week, Rob?
Didn't he say he had to mute or something? I heard him say something.
What? I didn't hear him.
He said something, and then he got quiet.
Well, he is very quiet, so I'll assume he had to mute.
All right. Or do we just go on the news?
Well, I mean, the starting news is all fighting game shit, so I think we're
Right, so
safe.
we're probably not going to talk much about that. It's you and Brandon.
Yeah. Anyway, fighting game shit. Let's start with the Guilty Gears. This actually happened last week, though. I guess they did do the modes trailer this week, so it's fine. Guilty Gear, big info dumps. You have infos. They were dumped upon the. There's a breakdown of all the different modes you have in the game. It is narrated terribly, and it's kind of funny.
Yeah. That was all the comments in the fucking comment section of the video. It's like, this guy sounds really enthusiastic, but not great at his job. But he's trying real hard.
But yeah, it's looking like more of the same stuff. There's a story mode, which is just an anime movie that you get to watch. Arcade mode. Bunch of his weird challenge modes. You can lobby from the start menu. Holy shit. You don't have to go into an extra bullshit thing. You can make your own pixel character for some reason. That's in.
Can I mention my biggest disappointment with this? Anyone who's interested in what we're the 5 of you listening to this podcast right now, if you're interested in what we're talking about, you can go on the Guilty Gear website and they just list everything we're about to talk about, so you can follow along if you really care. But can I just mention that I'm kind of like a little disappointed in the game modes, just a bit, because it seems very Exert, and like if you want any longevity out of this game, it's just going to be going online.
Oh yeah.
Because like, I don't know. Maybe it was stupid of me to assume that this would be the case, but like Grand Blue Fantasy has like an RPG mode in it, which I haven't played it and I haven't seen it. I don't know what it entails, but apparently it's some sort of weird RPG cross fighting game thing that's in Grand Blue, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Arxis is experimenting with like interesting single player content, and this game has like nothing. It's just the arcade mode we already kind of know. It sounds a little interesting where they're like, oh yeah, maybe if you're getting shit on, like another character will come in and essentially act like a Marvel assist for you to help you, and like there will be branching paths in the arcade mode, they seem to say, which can dictate your character ending, which is kind of interesting. But there's like nothing else. There isn't even like mom mode from Exert from any.
Yeah, that's true. They didn't mention that.
Yeah.
Wasn't there
That's not even
something that
there,
they
so-
had that was kind of like that? It wasn't arcade, but they were like, and there was like weird 2 versus 1 shits in it, which that was crazy. So I guess tag is deconfirmed. It's just sometimes 2 people are on the same side. Okay.
I think it's the arcade thing. I think people thought it was a tag when they saw it briefly, but it's the arcade mechanic where someone can just come in and help you. I guess if you're having difficulty, like a secondary character will show up and assist you. And people thought, like when we saw a snippet of it in a trailer, people like Maximilian and shit were making videos being like, "Is this a tag mode?" And unfortunately, it's not. That would have been cool, but it's
I think
not.
I think it's okay. I mean, I've never super been crazy about like tag systems in games,
A
but
tag mode could have been cool, just to fuck
no,
around in, to
it
have like
definitely could have been cool. But I'm fine with just balancing around like a base game. Maybe next one.
yeah. But I'm looking at the modes on the website, and it's literally just a tutorial, the arcade, mission mode, which I think is just gonna kind of be like, I don't know what this is. I don't think it's mom mode. I think it's basically like combo trials, is what it sounds like. And then there's a survival mode, which is also, I don't even know if Exert had a survival mode, but still, that's not that mind blowing. And then there's practice, and like that's it. So if you really want to get a lot of hours out of this game, it's gonna be going online. Like there's not a ton of single player content for people who want that. That's a little unfortunate because I would have liked some interesting stuff to do offline when I don't feel like going online and tryharding. But it doesn't seem like there's going to be any of that.
Yeah. I like
They
that
did put
you
up all
don't.
the characters. Sorry, not to cut you off. Did
Oh,
they
yeah.
put up all the characters on the website and put a little banner on them to give you like a brief explanation of what they are?
And I like how even in the trailer when they showed all of the characters off, there was just one mystery silhouette, like just black character that was just standing there.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a real silhouette though, unless the character is just man. Which would be kind of funny, honestly. Could you imagine
Dude.
with all the crazy art style and like in your face of all the other Guilty Gear characters, there's just like a guy in a tank top is like the last guy, and and he's bald and he has nothing else. He's just a guy.
I like how Arxis, with their Japanese developer flair, cannot use simple terms such as grappler. So underneath Potemkin on the character breakdown screen on their website, it says power throw. He's not a grappler. He's tagged power throw because he has power throws. Nagori Yuki is tagged one shot, whatever that means. I guess just implying he's a Sam Show character with very high damage single attacks.
I guess so.
Hello.
Welcome
And
back.
Faust is tagged unique, and he's the only one with that.
He certainly is, though. Let's be real.
Yes.
But yeah, so more information. Can't wait to see and be disappointed in who the last character is.
Yeah, it's probably not gonna be. Oh, we've been over it.
Yeah, we had
It's
a
probably not gonna be anyone I
big
care
talk.
about.
Yeah.
Won't be Slayer, that's for sure.
Shut the fuck up. The next bit of news is Killer Instinct. It's back, baby.
Hell yeah,
Thanks,
motherfucking
Maximilian.
Maximilian dude is putting on a fucking KI tournament, and there's not really a lot of news here, but I'm very excited about it because he did a Twitch Rivals tournament for Marvel 3 recently, and he's got it going for KI, which is fucking awesome, man. Because that game deserves to have more eyes on it. I legitimately think it's like one of the best, if not the best, mechanically designed fighting games of like the last decade, and no one gave it its fucking time in the spotlight. So I'm excited that he's doing this. I'm excited that maybe if it gets enough thousands of viewers on Twitch, that someone from Microsoft will notice hashtag bring back KI, and then maybe something will happen with it in the future.
Remember, that's a property that exists that they own.
Yeah. They don't remember. They forgot all about it. So hopefully this does something to drum up community interest. And that's pretty much the beginning and the end of the story. I'm gonna be
Speaking
watching that shit because high level KI is fucking awesome.
speaking of beginnings and ends, a hilarious gaffe at the Mortal Kombat tournament. Uh,
Yeah, I forgot about this story until I saw you list it
it's
in the thing.
it's absolutely insane. I think. Um, I would like to look at the guy's name, but unfortunately, I have a whole lot of gifs to scroll through. Give me a second here.
I'm up
Um,
here.
Those gifts were necessary.
They were.
all right, Titanium Tigers, who was a finalist in the official Mortal Kombat 11 Pro competition, disqualified because he picked a Shiva variant that he named Why Did NRS, NetherRealm Studios, the creators of the game, why did NRS do this? Because Shiva is seen as kinda jank because she's got this crazy stomp move, and his variation was built around that stomp move. So, a harmless joke to everyone. Nope, just kidding. You're kicked out. Oh my
I don't
god.
even know what to say about this other than that's fucking hilarious. Why did NRS do this? And then he got straight up like disqualified.
Yeah, he got DQ. No, you know what's even better too about it is this was during a stream of course. They just cut away from the stream and they actually finished their set not knowing that he was already disqualified.
Oh my god, that's incredible. What a knee-jerk fucking reaction. Like why would NRS even give a shit that he, that he named his variation? Why would NRS do this?
That's not even like a terrible like I would understand if it had something like
If it was like Hitler was right or something like
yeah,
that,
yeah, something
yeah,
actually offensive in any way.
it's like yeah, DQ that guy. But this is like so inoffensive.
And he even was like, they didn't ask me to change the name or just use a different variant. They just cut away from him and then afterwards was like, yeah, you're gone, by the way.
That's so weird. It's so like passive aggressive and like oddly defensive of your game.
Yeah,
God, it's like the least of MK11's problems is to a stomp, and yet they're DQing people over that. Like, what the fuck?
oh man. It's funny though. Like I feel
I thought I
bad for
lost my
him.
shit when you posted that in the Discord messages. I read the headline and I was like, "That's fucking amazing!
Why and
What a legend that guy is."
and it's great because the name continues because now we could all ask why would NRS do this?
How many people are online playing MK11 right now with variations that say, "Why did NRS do this?"
Oh, it's probably
a lot of people.
lot. Yeah.
Well, that's the hilarity of that.
Yeah, and that's the end of our fighting game news. The Freers can now talk again. Um,
I don't know. What was
Welcome
that?
back.
all right, Resident Evil 8. Big old video. There were also leaks, but I know you guys are interested about it,
Oh, I'm very
so
interested.
I'm not
playing the
gonna
shit out of this
mention
game.
them. Did you did you guys see the map?
No,
Okay, there's a
sorry, I
map.
was sipping my monster can.
There's a map. This game, if the map is not like a chapters thing, if it's open or something, this game is going to be mind-meltingly huge. And even if it is the chapters, there's gonna be a lot of chapters in this game. This one's gonna be a long one,
Good.
unless each section is kind of pathetically short, which is also possible. But let's not hope for that reality. Um,
I enjoy the Resident Evil games. I played the remakes, and I played what the hell was the one where you were dealing with all the rednecks in the swamp?
that was
7?
7.
That was 7.
Yeah, this is the direct sequel to that.
I am very much. I knew that one. Why the hell did I forget the number that fucking that one was?
There's a lot of numbers. It's okay.
Yeah. I enjoyed. Actually, 7 was the, well, technically 4 with Leon in the weird town with the Russian people. Those were Russians. I don't know what the hell they were. Leon
I've lost the plot. Which game are you talking about? Are you talking about 4?
I'm trying to remember the first Resident Evil game I played. I think it was that one on the PS2 with Leon.
Yeah, that'd probably be
It did have
4.
a PS2 version.
And the one there was the one Rasputin looking guy who I think was
Yeah.
Russian.
Yeah, I was like, because all I
Yeah.
can remember is like a Russian voice, and I was like, Leon, and then some Russian fuck.
Game took place in Spain, though, I believe, didn't it?
I
Was
have
it
no
Spain?
fucking idea.
Yes.
Oh yeah, there was also some suave motherfucker who wielded a pistol. That was
Yes, yes. That's
Yeah.
4.
Oh my God, what's that guy's name?
Miguel.
He's the ballistics guy. I see
God.
the president's daughter comes equipped with ballistics, and he's
Yeah.
talking about her
Yeah.
tits.
Yeah.
He's taling about her boobs. What is that guy's name?
Ash-
Why is the memories coming back? There was a giant zombie shark too, or fish of some sort.
Yep,
Oh
in
my-
the lake.
Why don't we get more
Oh.
giant zombie animals? God damn it, Resident Evil.
You
Oh.
guys want me to spoil something for you real
Lewis.
quick?
No,
Lewis.
no.
Are
No,
you sure?
It was Lewis.
absolutely not. If it has anything to do with RE8, no, I don't want you to spoil shit.
All I know is that the new Resident Evil, like apparently, like village, like Screen Girl, apparently has a huge rack because there's already fan art.
Oh my God, yes. Listen, I'm so down with the RE8 direction of we're just gonna take these viruses and attribute them to vampire women with giant knockers and werewolves.
Yeah.
I'm in. I'm so in.
I'm sure you are all aware there is a giant vampire mommy. I personally prefer the crazy fly daughter, but
Oh yeah, she's awesome.
but that's me. She could have my man blood any day.
I agree with you
I'm
in
sorry,
terms
what?
of the.
Is that the phrase they're using?
That is
Yes.
the term that she uses.
She's
Oh,
literally
sweet
like, "Let me
Jesus.
taste your man blood" or
And
whatever.
I'm like,
Oh,
by
sweet
all means.
Jesus.
This is
And
not
then the
the
internet
mother.
got real horny. No, yeah, it's not the mama.
Oh, the internet is super horny about this shit. It's
Oh yeah,
incredible.
especially mommy milkers. Like
Yeah.
they're very horny about mommy milkers.
Mommy milk.
We can go. You want to hear the theory? I talked to you about this in text messages. I feel like it's kind of been disproven at this point.
Mhm.
But when Capcom first told us about this game, they were like, they put the 8 in the title, right? Like Resident Evil Village, and they had the 8 lit up in the letters.
Mhm.
But then they were really weird about their phrasing because they were like, "We don't want you. We're not calling it RE8."
Ow.
And everyone was like, "What the fuck does that mean?" And then recently, people came up with a theory that it actually isn't RE8; it's Revelations 3, because the V is lit up and there's the 3 eyes, which might mean 3, as opposed to VIII for 8. And the reason why people have that theory is because they were like, Mommy Milkers might be the villain from Revelations 2, who was
That'd
like
be
a woman
hysterical.
who might be mommy milkers now, but I think that's been disproven because the demo takes place in like the 50s or something. It doesn't Maiden have a note in it that's dated like 1958 or something like that?
I actually haven't looked at the demo, so I don't know about that.
I know there's a note you pick up in the Maiden demo that's dated 1958. I don't know if the implication is that these vampire women were around in the 50s or what, but like that's a note you pick up. So it's probably not true, but that was the theory going around, is that this is actually Revelations 3 and that Mommy Milkers is the villain from Revelations 2, but with some kind of virus in her to turn her into very tall vampire lady. Probably not true though. Moral of the story, I'm very excited about this game.
Yeah.
I'm all in to have my man blood sucked. That's all I'm saying, dude.
Giddy.
Second. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be very good.
Please suck my man blood.
Yeah,
To being
please.
somewhat into it to being really into it real quick.
Well, I mean, no matter what, we can all agree, even if this game is terrible, the
fan
source
art
filmmaker stuff is gonna be outrageous.
Oh, it's gonna be off the chain, dude.
It's gonna be nuts.
It's gonna be so much man blood sucking.
It's gonna be fucking nuts.
It's gonna be great.
You're gonna be fucking some nuts, all right.
It's gonna be a shame when I have to kill those 3 and they don't suck my man blood.
Oh, it is. It's
But
gonna
they
be
have
very
to
sad.
die.
Yeah.
They have to die. I have to cleanse that mansion of their taint without them sucking my man blood.
Without your taint, unfortunately.
Yeah, without my my hard taint.
Full of man
You're
blood.
losing
Full of
your shit
man
right
blood.
there for a second,
My throbbing,
Throbbing taint.
my throbbing man blood.
man. Throbbing man blood. That's what we call my shotgun.
Oh man. Throbby freer. Uh,
Hey,
I will say,
I'm sorry, I spoiled your.
that's
I
supposed to
spoiled.
stay in college.
Yeah, I spoiled your stage name. My bad. I'm sorry.
What happens in college stays in college.
Sorry, you were saying something.
I was gonna say, I will say before we get off this topic that the Maiden demo is not as cool as the RE7 demo. Like it's very short. I don't know if any of you have seen it, but
I have not.
it's very short. It doesn't do as much to build hype, I think, because I don't know if you guys remember, but like beginning hour kind of lit the internet on fire
Oh yeah.
for a little bit. Not quite to the, I don't think quite to the levels of like PT, but it was kind of a big deal because people were very excited about it. I don't think this demo is doing the same thing, and that might just be because people have already played RE7, so like we kind of know what we're getting out of this. There's no mystery like there was with beginning hour. But it's a very short demo, and I don't even think there's any like secrets in it, like there were in beginning hour, where there was like a hidden ending you could get. So that's kind of unfortunate, but I'm still very excited for this,
Yeah. Should
and
be
to
good.
give them my throbbing man blood.
Yeah, RE4 remake got giga delayed. Wasn't it supposed to come out this year?
I don't know about that. So the story's kind of strange. Did you read the article?
I didn't
that I
read the
posted?
article, but I've heard some things.
Okay, it's not so much. It's not so much that. So okay, so we've talked on this podcast a few times about how an RE4 remake is potentially in the works, behind the scenes. Capcom hasn't like officially announced anything about it, but there's just been like leaks and insiders talking about it. Apparently, someone, I'd have to bring the article up to check, which I don't really feel like doing right now. But I think the person, whoever leaked this, is pretty reputable. Apparently, like RE4 remake is happening. So this is something I actually didn't know until I watched a video of someone talking about this story, but it's kind of related to this story, is that RE3 remake was to some extent outsourced and not made by Capcom in-house. I didn't actually know that. So that was actually news to me, but it explains a lot about why that game is good, but it's not quite as good as RE2 remake. It doesn't feel like as faithful of a recreation of the source material. Here's the shocking part, which kind of blew my mind, is that you're Capcom, right? And you have this little game called Resident Evil 4 that's like one of your most popular games you've ever made. It's like legendary in the Resident Evil franchise. People love it. So you're going to remake it like you remade RE2 and RE3. You, quote unquote. So what do? You're going to outsource it like you did with RE3 remake, and you're not going to do it in-house. What? So the fact that they made that decision at all in the first place was shocking to me, but the story is essentially RE4 remake is happening. Capcom wasn't making it in-house. They were having the developer that worked on RE3 remake make it. And apparently there was a conflict of ideas between Capcom and this developer whose name I can't remember off the top of my head. Apparently what happened was, due to the blowback of RE3 M2 is what they're called. Apparently due to the blowback of RE3 remake and the fact that they kind of, I don't want to say fucked it up, but like didn't include a lot of content from the original game, M2 was going to shift focus on RE4 remake and make it more true to like original RE4 and basically just not do what they were going to do with RE3 remake. And then Capcom said, no, you're not making it anymore. Took it back from them, so now they're developing it in-house, like with RE2 remake, because they want to it's very strange. It's like they want to focus on being true to the original, but with new spins on mechanics and things
Oh
that are
boy.
not like fully just one for one the original game. And I don't know what that means. Like, I don't know how to take this article because everyone's like making videos about this and talking about it and being like, oh, this is a good thing. Like, Capcom has it, they're doing it in house. And like RE2 remake was really good, so we should be excited about that. But at the same time, it's phrased really weird where M2 was like, we're taking the criticism of RE3 remake and improving upon it, and then Capcom goes, no, you're not. We're taking it back from you and we're doing it instead. And it's like, is that a good thing? Is it a bad thing? I don't know. Like, how am I supposed to take that?
That's fair.
Look, so long as Leon points to Napoleon and says you are small time, it's an okay remake.
You're not wrong. If they take that shit out, then we have a problem.
Oh yeah, if they make it like super serious.
It's
Could you
such a weird
imagine
story. What?
they make it like super like serious RE4?
I couldn't
Which I
even-
mean tonally like RE4 takes itself completely seriously. Like it never cracks a smile when crazy shit is happening. It just has it happen. Oh, I'm just remembering that RE4 has like a codec thing on like walkie-talkies, which is the funniest thing in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. We were talking to like Hunnigan and shit like that.
Yeah. And it's just a radio, but your pictures are in it.
The way I'm gonna take this,
Oh god, I remember now.
the way I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna take it mostly as a positive, I think, because like RE2 remake was a banger.
Yeah.
So if Capcom's doing it in house and they did RE2 remake, I have to assume that this game will wind up okay. I still don't think RE4 needs a remake. Like, I'll die on that hill, but probably better that Capcom's doing it in house than the team that they outsourced RE3 remake to. However, am I alone in thinking that it's just such a strange chain of events for the team behind RE3 remake to literally acknowledge their mistakes and go, we'll improve. We're going to focus more on like recreating the original one for one, but to the standards of like RE2 and RE3 remake. And then for Capcom to be like, no, you won't, because we're going to do that instead. Like, is that not fucking weird?
No, it's super weird.
It's like very strange.
It is an odd thing. It's quite odd.
It's so strange for a developer to be like, yes,
I
we
feel like
fucked up.
they probably they had faith in them, but then Capcom looked at like the legions of fans that are behind RE4 and they were like, "You know what? We believe you. We think you will make this one better because honestly the last one wasn't too bad. It was bad in certain ways, but it was a completely serviceable game. But we have a lot of brand loyalty riding on this, so we're just gonna take over."
Yeah, we're gonna make sure it's good. Like I said, I'm taking it as a positive because like RE2 remake was great. Capcom's doing it in house. It's probably gonna be good. RE3 remake has some fucking problems. So like I guess only good can come of Capcom doing it in house is the point that I'm getting at. But it is such a strange, like, it's weird mental gymnastics where it's like team admits how they fucked up, says they'll fix it, and then Capcom goes, nah, we're not giving you a chance because we need to be sure that this works out.
Yeah, that's the only thing I could think of.
Yeah, it's just a very odd story, but like I said, I'm personally viewing it mostly as a positive, and I still, like I said, will die on that hill of Resident Evil 4 is still a completely fine, very good video game, despite its age, that holds up to this day, and I don't think needs a fucking remake. But if Capcom's doing it in house as opposed to outsourcing it, I'm sure there will be something to enjoy about an RE4 remake, even if I don't think it's necessary. But that's just me. Is anyone else actually excited for RE4 remake?
Nah,
Or do you share my opinions
I
on
have my anti-remake in general stance. I played the game, I loved
I'm
it.
always hopeful.
it? You got to play
Big
RE2
Resident Evil
remake.
fan
Dude.
anyway.
Yeah, I will. I actually have it installed. I just haven't launched it yet.
RE2 Remake may fucking change your opinion because that game is a fucking masterclass in remaking a game.
No, it's not that I don't like. I don't know. I don't know how to put it. I just they already got my money. They're charging full price. It just maybe needs an HD re-release like that. I would be fine with, and but instead the price is inflated and there's changes that aren't necessarily always for the better. I mean, even from what I read about RE2 is that the scenarios are wonkier than they were in the original. It's a minor note, but it's a note, and I just don't see the point in buying remakes at all. It's not that I think that they're bad or anything. I just, I played this game. I liked it. The only useful part about it is getting it on a console or platform, I should say, that it wasn't on before. Like that's it for me.
Even when a remake is essentially like a completely different game though, because like RE2 Remake is nowhere near the same thing as OG RE2. You're getting a vastly different modern experience out of your purchase.
Well, but then
They're literally two completely different games.
yeah,
So
but
why
I
is
would
RE2?
rather. But then if you're gonna do that, then like why even make it RE2? Why not just make something new? With all the sequels and everything. Clearly the quality's there. If that had any other skin on it, it would have still been a good entry.
I see your point in that. However, I think it's fine because it's still very original in the sense that you're taking the same story beats and the same plot, but you're redoing everything. Like
No, I get it. Yeah, it is. It is fine. It's just I don't know.
the
It's
voice
my
acting's better.
weird
I'm of the
hangups.
opinion, and maybe you'll be of this opinion when you play it, that RE2 Remake is like the best way to experience RE2 now.
Ooh.
It's
I
fantastic.
actually
Like
really liked it.
all the voice acting is great, the animation, the story just feels like better, like far better portrayed than it is in like OG RE2. I'm sure I'd piss some people off by saying that, but I think it is. I think it's like the optimal way to experience the plot of RE2 is to play a remake. And it's just good. It's a good like return to form of like scary Resident Evil as opposed to like action Resident Evil, which we didn't need because RE7 was kind of that return to form before this, but it's a fantastic game that stands on its own apart from the original. I think it's the best case to be made for remake. I think when you play it, you will understand what I'm saying, and it may change your opinion on remakes. Like it's a phenomenal experience.
I will check it out though. I'll let
Highly
you know.
recommend.
Commenters, what do you think?
They won't comment.
Do
They're
it.
not here.
Fucking do it.
They're not gonna do it.
Please do it.
Comment on
We've
what?
asked them to do it 3 times. They don't do it.
Comment on what?
Everything. Every decision we have ever made.
Mommy milkers and man
Mommy
that too.
Milkers. I haven't really kept out Resident Evil because I'm not a huge Resident Evil fan.
I was
but-
talking
we're
about
yeah, we're
commenters.
talking
I
to-
wasn't talking about you.
Yeah, we're talking to our viewers, the people who have to go in the comments
hold
section.
on.
That's
Who?
Richie, are you a viewer?
exactly.
Are you a viewer?
I mean,
Absolutely not.
Go in the comment section.
Go in the comment section. And
For
let
the
us know
algorithm.
what you think about Mommy Milkers.
Just
All
leave a
right.
comment that just
Will
says
do.
"mommy milkers." It'll help the algorithm. It'll feed people to this
We
video.
will get entirely the wrong audience.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna when you post
Just
this
get 20
podcast,
alerts. It's just Mommy Milkers.
when you post this podcast, I'm gonna go in the comment section. I'm gonna leave a comment that just says "mommy milkers."
Can
and
we
we're
get
gonna
up
see.
to 12,000 Mommy Milkers by the end of next week? All right. That hurt to even fake do.
Smash that like button and click the bell, and leave a comment that says "mommy milkers."
All right. Glad I said that out loud. Actibliz is restructuring. There's a minor
Suck my man blood.
studio. There's a minor studio. I don't even like this story. It's fucking formatted terribly. The title is all wrong. Actibliz is big. There's many much studio underneath it. It is being reorganized, so
So that Blizzard is losing all of its autonomy and just becoming one with the giant blob that is Activision. That's basically
not all of its autonomy. It's losing some of it because of corporate restructuring.
Oh, really? It's not all of it? I thought they were just basically absorbing Blizzard completely.
Well, I mean, essentially. But I'm sure there are a lot of the key players are going to stay in position. It's just, slightly different boardrooms and shit like that, and some members will be swapped around is the thing. But I mean, fuck Blizzard anyway, so who knows? Maybe now they'll put out a remake that isn't infinitely worse while also deleting the original from their website. Who knows? Brave New World. Maybe they'll delete the original first now and then release the inferior version. Switch it up.
I don't have a lot to say about this news story other than I don't know. Who gives a fuck? Like Blizzard Blizzard is practically as a shambling corpse of what it used to be anyway, for the most part. Much like most developers nowadays. So I don't know. Does this matter? Probably not.
No, yeah, probably not.
Nothing matters. Nothing matters anymore. Nothing in the games industry matters. These companies just want your money. Activision is a money vampire. Blizzard's already a corpse being puppeted by the necromancer that is Bobby Kotick. Nothing fucking matters.
Kotor, I put 2 because I'm retarded, but a new Kotor being worked on, maybe? Kotor being Knights of the Old Republic? Question mark?
This is very exciting. I'm so excited. No, I actually am. That's not sarcasm. I'm actually very excited because this goes along. Did we talk about this last week about how EA doesn't have supposedly is not renewing their Star Wars exclusivity deal with Disney?
Correct.
For game development, yeah. Okay, so we talked about that last week, which means there's people, very reputable people, including what's that guy's name, James Schreier.
Yeah.
Very notable games journalist man saying that this is a thing that's happening, that KOTOR 2 is currently in development somewhere by someone who is not related to or underneath the thumb of EA at all. And he worded it very strangely where he said, "You'll never guess who's making it." I don't know what that means. I don't know if that's something to be excited about or if that's something to be afraid of. But the moral of the story is someone's making KOTOR. And if it's like Obsidian, I will suck 10,000 dicks. Happiness. I will happily suck 10,000 dicks.
Hell,
if it's Obsidian.
It could be LucasArts too. They're back. They exist again.
Yeah, but they're working with people.
True. Yeah.
To make stuff. Like they're working. Well, who is it they're working with? Bethesda to make the Indiana Jones game, right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. So I don't know, but I hope it's anyone who's good at making RPGs that we know of, even if it's like an indie company. I don't give a shit. I want someone good to be making this KOTOR game. I would love it to be Obsidian just because of the relation to the old games. It probably won't be. Because I don't know why he'd say you'll never guess who's working on it if it was them. So it's probably not.
KOTOR by Larian Studios coming soon.
I'll have to not get it when it's in early access and just wait until the 25 episodes come out. But whatever, I wouldn't even hate that. Anything is better than BioWare, to be completely honest. So the fact that KOTOR is out from under the evil thumb of EA and the also shambling corpse that is BioWare is just 2 thumbs up for me. And I'm very excited that it's happening.
Yeah. But it'll be neat. It'll be neat to see. Gabe wants you to pilot video games with your goddamn mind like it's the Matrix.
I fully support that.
I do too.
He's been on this
I want
weird
to
train
jack
for a
in.
while.
I want to be Ricky Maru.
You want like all those fucking anime that have you plugging in and getting like stuck in the video game and dying in real life, don't you?
Can I play Revengence with my brain?
Yo, I'll be honest.
Just
I
something
want
that-
Soma in real life.
Oh God. No, you don't.
That's not a dystopic for me. He has 3 versions of himself that'll last forever. That's
No.
pretty metal.
No, it's not.
It is to me.
It's almost horrifying.
It's horrifying because your main character's retarded.
No,
You're not looking
it's
at the good
horrifying.
parts.
No, it has nothing to do with him being retarded. Yes, he doesn't understand what's going on, but even if he did understand what's going on, it still does not work out for him.
That's true. Well, it works out for a version of him.
Yeah, that's not good. Think about the part of him that it didn't work out for and how horrific that is.
Who
Spoilers
knows?
for Soma, by the way.
Who knows? But yeah, it would be interesting. Honestly, it's kind of funny to when you think about like a brain interface device. Why the fuck would that start at video games?
All right, it wouldn't. It'll
You don't-
start somewhere else.
Well, I mean that's what Gabe's pushing it for, so I mean, hey. But like I mean, just think of like I think it would be really good for like art programs and stuff like that. Because I could visualize shit all day long, but I've retarded fingers, and that
Can't
would
say
be
that.
really good. I'll probably
Yes.
yeah, that too.
Hey, you can't say that.
I have dumb fingers.
Just like Pog, you can't say that anymore.
I have anti-pog fingers.
Yeah, no, you can't. You can't say Pog.
I said anti though, so it's okay.
You can't say that.
No.
Nope,
You
can't
still
say
said
that.
Pog. You can't say that.
Can't say that.
I
That's
said
a
it.
weird. That's a weird champ on you, sir. Oh, I can't say that either. It's the same face.
Can't do it. Can't do it anymore.
Oh man. But yeah, even like think about like what that would mean for like music. Imagine if just like what you thought, how you could like arrange stuff and like it being able to interact with anything with your mind is so much like sorcery to me that the fact that it's even being considered for video games is hysterical.
I think it's a far easier. Where this is the kind of conversation we should be having while we're smoking like a fat blunt. But
Oh, yeah.
I think it's easier to.
But you guys aren't.
I didn't say that.
You can't say that.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
I
you
can
and you
definitely
can't say
say
that.
that.
That's not very Pog of you, Rob. You can't say that.
You can't say that.
Fuck, I can't say
I'm
that.
ripping mad pogs right now.
Damn it! None of us can say these things. Stop it. We can't say any of this. I think it's easier to think about brain stuff in the way that he's talking about it when it like I can visualize it far better in terms of controlling something, like controlling a game, not so much creating. You know what I mean? But it's easy to understand how like brain interface could work when it just comes to like inputs and movement in a video game.
But I mean, can't you also do that with like mouse movement and then the like brush strokes and stuff like that?
Yeah,
Like in
definitely. But
Paint.
that's still just user interface manipulation. When it comes to like sound design and stuff like that, that's where we start getting real blunt smoking
Mm.
conversation.
Can-
in my opinion.
Can we reverse the polarity? Can I finally be with my waifu?
Yeah,
Can I
absolutely.
But Brian,
Feel
think
the
of it this
touch.
way: you can move a mouse or control something in a game. Why can't you control an instrument?
Yeah, you definitely could. I mean, you could manipulate the UI on like a plugin in like a DAW.
And
that's just
why
like a
can't
digital version of a synth, but like
the instrument in the game instead control my dick?
my man
Oh,
blood.
My man blood, yeah. We're bringing
Okay.
it back.
Yeah, come full circle,
Full circle,
right to the man blood.
right to the man blood.
Suck it out.
Our last bit of news.
Gabe's been on this brain shit for quite some time, by the way.
He's been
I
on just
remember-
weird input shit. Remember that controller that was going to be like a sword?
No.
It was
What?
metal. It was one of the first. So it was another guy actually came up with it, but he was a pretty solid game industry engineer guy, and he was like, you know, it's kind of ridiculous that like we play these games and we swing swords, but we do it by like pressing a button. Why don't we have a controller that it's like swinging a sword and it'll be for sword games with sword play in it and stuff like that. And eventually, I guess VR kind of ended up doing that, but this was before VR and those type of controllers and stuff
Okay.
existed.
But he was just talking about basically like shitty Wii remote motion control.
Kind of, yeah. And
Essentially.
the only reason I mentioned that is because this during the big Kickstarter video for it, when it was like showing who's behind it, there's one part where he's like in a forge and think people are making like swords and shit, and then Gabe is there forging a crowbar.
Oh, that's where that comes from?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know.
These
I didn't know the
things,
origin of that.
They take time.
That's hilarious.
So.
But yeah, he's been on this brain shit forever though, because I remember watching an interview with him like a year ago or something, where he was talking to the interviewer and he was like, and the interviewer asked him some question like, "Man, you're really into that like Elon Musk brain shit, aren't you?" And he was like, "Yup, I want that for games." So he's been talking about this forever. Will it happen anytime soon? Probably not. I think we'll be on VR for decades before we get the Elon Musk brain interface with Half-Life 3.
Yeah, but if they plug it into the brain, maybe it'll be easier. Sign me up. I want my augs. I want to be the first person to suffer from cyberpsychosis.
I was literally, you took the words out of my fucking mouth. I was about to say that.
I already occasionally have disassociation issues. Let's go. Let's fucking crank that bitch up.
Elon Musk comes out tomorrow and goes, "Here's brain interface. You can buy it. You can plug it in. You can play your video games with it." I will not jump on that train.
I will jump on that train.
Because that thing will fry your brain, probably.
I will get my brain fried.
The first cues of that are going to fuck you up and you're going to lose like 100 IQ. And become a cyber zombie.
Maybe by going into negative IQ, I will it'll have
you
like
send.
Yeah, it'll like loop backwards. It's like an old arcade game where you get negative score and it breaks the game's memory.
Yeah. You'll become Shodan if you go into negative IQ.
Look at you, hacker, with IQ in my halls.
Look at you, Elon.
Your son's name is stupid. All right.
Wait, before we go on to the big news, we got something tinier to talk about.
Yes.
Tinier?
Yeah, well, we should just, I mean, I'm just going to skim it because we talked about it already, but the Godzilla vs. Kong trailer.
Oh, you're right.
Sure. Hey, I'm going to quickly get this out of the way before we dig into this story. I saw have you seen that people have been like freeze framing elements of that trailer?
Mechagodzilla's in it, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Mechagodzilla's in the fucking movie,
yep.
Which is hilarious because you and me talked about that shit last night. And we were like, and you especially were like, I want them to stay away from the mecha and aliens. And then I wake up today and I go on YouTube and YouTube recommends me one of those text things, like essentially like timeline updates. And it's like, look, Mechagodzilla's in. And I click it and I'm like, yep, that's Mechagodzilla, all right. Guess what? The plot writes itself, Richie. They fight each other for an hour, and then and then it turns out, that wasn't Godzilla. It was Mechagodzilla wearing his skin. And then they both have to team up to fight Mechagodzilla, and that's the plot of the movie. It fucking sucks, my cock. It's just Batman vs Superman again.
Yeah.
Well, what if it's in reverse? What if they're both fighting for real? And
then the humans are like, bring out the giant
because
robot.
there's always the human sides to the story, and so they're like, we've never seen destruction like this, even though the last movie had
you want to know why that's not the plot?
Yeah, I was
pretty sure the plot has already been synopsised by like the people making it like legendary, and the plot is that they're bringing in Kong to stop Godzilla.
Yeah, well, that's clear from the trailers too.
Well, yeah,
because you and me talked about this last night. We both talked about this last night, where it was like in the trailers, the human people in the trailer are like, Kong's fucking people up. What? Or not Kong. Godzilla's hurting people. Why is he doing that? We have to bring in Kong on chains to stop him because we don't know why Godzilla's murdering people, but it's not nice. It's bad, Godzilla.
Oh, that's so good. No, but that means that it's the best version of Mechagodzilla. It's not the weapon that we made. It's the fucking aliens.
Yeah, probably. You're probably right.
Well,
it's the alien weapons, but that means that could lead into Space Godzilla. That could lead into Gidan. That could lead into a bunch of cool shit.
Cool. All right. This
It's
I
Pacific. We
talked.
Pacific Rim now. It's aliens.
I had a whole conversation with Brandon about this literally last night. Um, I would prefer if they stayed away from some of those elements because I kind of liked the more based in modern day quote unquote realism
As
of
Rodan
just
destroys an entire city by
Big
flying
air
over it.
quotes.
well, I mean,
Unrealism.
just like I liked the idea of just like kaiju fighting each other and they're not being like fucking mechas and fucking aliens. Like just the idea of just like big organic monsters.
You like
But
Earth-based mutated or kaiju with with an origin based in bullshit pseudoscience that doesn't
kind
come
of,
from space.
And
yeah.
or
Is what you're
mysticism.
saying. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's not what you're getting. You're getting
Unfortunately, that is
alien.
not what I'm
You're
getting. Yeah.
getting alien Mechagodzilla that has to be stopped in the last half hour of the movie by real Godzilla and Kong.
I hope it's like the old movies too, and when it like reveals the alien, they don't look like crazy monsters, but it's just a random Japanese guy in like a reflective suit. It's oh, humans, we will destroy
There's
you.
people like talking now like that Mechagodzilla is the Godzilla from the trailer. He's just wearing a Godzilla flesh suit.
So you're saying he's a furry?
Yeah, scaly.
Oh, right, yeah, sorry.
Different.
There's
Did they get a separate place on your island?
no, they all cohabitate.
I
Okay.
think we've had this conversation. Yeah, I think they all go to the same place.
Well, I mean, it
According to
could still
President
be the
Richie.
same island, but I don't know if you're gonna subdivide it.
But just to talk about the trailer. All right, just from what we get in the trailer. We ranted about Mechagodzilla.
No, that was
Bro,
a good sandbag.
Bro, I can sum this trailer up in fucking 10 seconds. It's Batman vs Superman. The plot
Yeah,
writes itself.
absolutely.
It sucks. I'm not excited about this movie. If you're into just monsters slapping each other for an hour with a really loose, somewhat shittily written plot that tries to drag you in with mild human interest, it's going to be there. It's not going to be well done, and then they have to team up in the last half hour because Godzilla and Kong can't die because they need to milk this franchise. So then they fight Mechagodzilla.
We talked about that, but
oh yeah, your theory about and my theory that I saw coming the second you open your mouth about it being P Diddy Zilla with an egg at the end, and there's a baby Zilla. Yeah,
I think Godzilla could totally die, but we might get Baby Zilla.
it's a stupid fucking movie's fucking stupid.
But so
not
that's
excited.
Brandon's opinion. My opinion is that I'm not necessarily. I'm excited because I'm not going into this movie saying, "Man, I hope the plot is good and intricate and fucking pulls me in." I just want to see Kong fight Godzilla, and as long as that's done cool, as long as the animations and the fight sequences are cool, I don't give a flying fuck about the plot. The movie's called Godzilla vs Kong. I'm not going in for a great story, all right? I'm going in to see monsters fight.
I guess I'm a little different in that my brain is not stimulated by CG monster fights. So like I'm not. I enjoy a plot and some semblance of mystery, and I'm not getting any of that out of this movie. So I'm probably not gonna. If I watch it, it'll be way the fuck later when it's like cheap and I can rent it on Amazon Prime or whatever. Like I don't give a fuck about this
I
movie.
mean, it's COVID times. You can go rent it on Amazon Prime right now, probably.
Yeah, but you're probably right actually, but. Not really, because I don't even think. Can you rent Tenet? I think they force you to buy it for $20. Because I looked. How did you watch it, Anthony?
I don't recall. I'm pretty sure illegally.
Oh, cool. So yeah, I don't think you can rent Tenet. I think they force you to spend $20 to buy it. So they might do the same shit with this at first, and then you can rent it later. But yeah, I'm very not excited because I know what it is. It's going to be an hour and a half CG slap fight with very little semblance of a plot.
I'm very excited to see big monster fight.
That's just Godzilla movies, man.
No, see, we had this conversation last night. I disagree. It is just Godzilla movies, but Godzilla movies can be interesting. Like the first Godzilla movie was kind of cool. The first remake that we got like years ago, it was neat. I enjoyed it. I didn't care a lot for all the human plot stuff.
No,
but
yeah, they keep trying to make me care, and I just don't.
Yeah, and also the false advertising with Bryan Cranston in that movie and shit like that.
Hysterical.
But I still like the movie, and there was some mystery going in. I was like, how are they going to handle Godzilla? Like, what kind of Godzilla is this? What is he fighting? Is he like prick Godzilla? Is he like good defender of Earth that accidentally fucks shit up whilst he's doing it, Godzilla? Like, you didn't know what was happening until you watched the movie, you know? And there was like there was at least a semi-interesting plot. This one is just, they're selling me on an hour and a half CG slap fight that I'm like not interested in because I know it's going to be shallow. And it's just for the people who want to go into a theater and be entertained by an hour and a half of a CG monster slapping another CG monster.
I'm down for that.
I enjoyed War of the Monsters.
You mean King of Monsters, like the last one?
No, I mean the video game for the PlayStation 2.
Oh.
And Pacific Rim gets a pass because Pacific Rim was at least mildly interesting and had cool mecha designs.
The first one.
And yes, the first one, and had a plot that was at least kind of remotely interesting, and didn't just boil down to an hour and a half of monsters slapping robots and vice versa.
It also had a save the Earth kind of message.
Yeah, you know what?
Yeah,
I'm surprised because like.
Which they seem to be completely, which is another aspect of Godzilla I kind of like, which I hadn't thought of this, and then I had it pointed out to me in a video that I watched late last night where I was like, oh yeah, that's right, that's a thing in Godzilla where like the movies tend to have a anti-nuclear message.
Yeah.
Going on, hence because of their origins.
Well, and
you
even not that is that it's like when Godzilla's good, he's defending the Earth, and when he's evil, he's a vengeful avatar for Mother Nature. And
Yeah.
it's weird because it's like it's kind of popular to care about the environment nowadays, and they haven't really played on it that much. They played on it a little bit in the second one, where they were like, "Oh yeah, these guys are totally messing up the ecosystem," but that was basically it. It hasn't been hitting those notes
the
as
whole
it usually
point was
has.
they're actually fixing the ecosystem.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's weird that it feels so much more in the background than in the older films.
Anyway, that's kind of my complaint with this movie is that it feels like a soulless monster mishmash movie where they're just trying to sell tickets because they're like, look, people will come and people will not tickets because no one's going to theaters, but they're like trying to sell Amazon Prime movie purchases because they're just like, people want to see Godzilla and Kong slap each other. It's soulless ways to make money.
But I do.
A film with
I do want to see Godzilla and Kong slap each other.
What I'm saying is you're the problem, Richie. That's what I'm saying. You're the reason these movies get made. There's no message. There's no interesting, intricate anti-nuclear war message in this movie. It's just going to be people want to watch CG Godzilla slap CG Kong for an hour and a half, and then they're going to team up.
Sometimes that's all you need.
So
I mean,
yeah, it's not.
It's
that's
funny
the point
because that's like the biggest complaint that you often hear about the first one was like, why the hell am I following around these nobodies? I want to see Godzilla slap the shit out of these other monsters. The
But
Mutos
here's
or
why
whatever.
I give that movie a pass. Is like the human stuff was kind of boring, but I liked all the Godzilla stuff near the end, and it felt like it was kind of tastefully done. It wasn't just like CG monster mash. It was like I got like goosebumps watching that first movie, having watched a lot of those like VHS Godzilla movies as a kid. Those moments when Godzilla first gets on screen and gives you like his first roar and like all those, like it just felt like a very well done Godzilla movie that was like kind of harkening back to its roots a little bit, but with like a lot of boring human stuff at the start.
Yeah.
And this movie is just like you just want to watch Godzilla punch Kong for an hour and a half, and it's like, no, I actually don't.
Yeah.
But we don't know. There could be some other.
Yeah, dude, but like they're gonna
about
get into the intricate plot of the aliens, dude.
I have no
that's
desire
true.
to see this movie. I'm so bored by the idea of Godzilla punching Kong for an hour and a half that I'm not gonna watch this movie.
And
Well, I
maybe
am.
maybe we're wrong. Maybe it's not Mechagodzilla. It's just a really weirdly designed jet jaguar.
That was something I said last night. I was like,
mentioned last night.
yeah, I was like, give me Jet Jaguar, bro.
But two things new in this trailer that I found. Well, not with this trailer. One is that the release date actually got pushed back, and that was I think today.
Today, really?
Yeah, it was March 26th. It is now March 31st, but only for the United States.
Huh.
What?
It still
That's such a-
releases. It still releases internationally on the 26th, but the 31st in the United States.
That is
I don't know why. I saw that literally like an hour ago.
I could only think it's a localization thing. Like, what
Oh,
else would
like a
cause it to be
week?
delayed? Yeah, for a week.
why would it be a localization thing though if it's American made?
6 days.
And if it's being pushed only for us? Wouldn't it be a localization thing if it was being pushed for everyone but us?
I don't know. Maybe they just feel, I don't know, something has to.
That's an
That would
odd
be
delay.
interesting to see if our version is any different. They
Do you-
could do it like the original Godzilla versus King Kong,
No,
where
do you think
where
that's
where in the American version King Kong wins, but in all the other versions Godzilla wins, just like the old movie.
clearly that's what they're doing?
That'd be so funny.
Even though that's not going to be the plot at all
It's
because
not.
neither of them can win in
Correct.
modern day writing style. So what has to happen is they have to fight each other to a standstill until Kong has that moment where he rips off a bit of the Godzilla he's fighting and realizes there's metal underneath and then goes, "Huh?" And then Mechagodzilla clowns him and then Godzilla shows up and has to help as they fight alien-made Mechagodzilla, and then they both go their separate ways at the end. Kong goes back to his island and Godzilla goes back into the depths until the day comes when the aliens return and they have to team up for the sequel to fight
Along with
again.
I don't know. I guess it would be Monster Zero, but that's just King Ghidorah again.
Wait, what?
It'll be
Sorry?
it'll be a bunch of monsters. It'll be like
Because I'm
be
trying
all-
to think of like what the aliens can anti up from, and like the
Dude,
only
I just whatever
because Gidan would be like, I like Gidan, but that he's also kind of lame. He's like he has a beak, a visor, and two stabby arms.
and a saw belly, dude.
I get yeah, he has a saw belly, but I mean,
If you
it's-
want like
okay, you freaked me out by saying Gidan. It's Gigan, okay?
Sorry,
According to the
I'm
wiki,
sorry.
get it
I
right,
want
please.
no matter what movie comes out, whatever fucking like how many more Godzilla movies come out, I don't care. The one enemy I want to fucking see Godzilla fight with all my heart because it's my favorite monster, like evil monster in Godzilla is fucking Destroya, dude. I
yeah,
love Destroya.
I love Destroya too.
Just fucking radioactive fucking horseshoe crabs that
Yeah.
meld together into a fucking OP fuck beast.
Well, I mean, if your theory is right, and yeah, Godzilla actually dies, but then there's baby Godzilla, that is an interesting tie-in to Destroya.
Yeah, it is actually. Like another theory I was talking to Brandon about because I saw which was pretty cool. Like so like we know that like from the last movie, like, you know, Eco Terrorist Tywin Lannister is going around collecting like Titan DNA and shit.
Mm.
What if he made like Biolante from all the combined fucking DNAs and shit? Like literally a
Ooh.
fucked up Titan plant monster.
Yeah, that'd be good.
That would be really cool too.
Violante would be good. Space Godzilla would be fine, the one with the crystals on the back. What other ones?
The aliens are coming, baby. The aliens are
Weird,
coming.
baby.
And then,
Because
but
someone
then, yeah,
had
then
to have
there's the
made that
weirdness.
Mechagodzilla that we know is there. So the aliens are coming.
And it can't be humans because humans is like, oh, but why though?
Look at the trailer again.
Unless
like
Tywin
there's
Lannister made Mechagodzilla.
And then
And-
when the second movie
humans.
comes out and Godzilla and Kong team up because the aliens came back and they have to fight Space Godzilla or whatever, and then they lose, and then all the world governments are like, we must reinitiate the Jaeger program, and then we get
Yes.
this three-way movie that I'll also hate because it will also be soulless CG punching cash-in tie-in movie that we're already getting, but worse.
like there are scenes if you look at the trailer that they are Kong is clearly in like Under Earth or Hollow Earth or whatever. It's gonna be interesting to see how that fucking plays in. Like
Which one was like the beetle guy and he had like drill arms?
God, I think I know what you're talking about because I remember was that in the
Because I know he teams up with Gigan. So maybe that's the next one is him and Gigan versus Godzilla and Kong.
Megalon.
Megalon, yeah. They like step it down a little bit, and then they unleash the ridiculous power levels.
Oh yeah, I remember Megalon.
And maybe that'll be enough movies that everyone forgets Ghidorah exists, so they could be like, look, it's Monster Zero from space. He's definitely not just King Ghidorah. He's definitely not. Here, there's some cyber shit on him. He's different.
There's like there's a weird scene in the trailer because I'm watching it over where like Kong's looking up, staring at these like flying fucking things, and there's clearly a bright blue glowing Godzilla-looking thing he's standing on. We might be getting fucking aliens because this shit looks very weird. Also,
it has to be aliens.
Yeah, also people have been saying, like, especially with the Mechagodzilla shit, if you look, like, the company's like intro and shit, you know, like the legendary fucking symbol they flash across the screen, there's like tech fucking shit on it. We might be getting aliens.
It's got to be fucking aliens. I mean, why would people in the trailer be like, we don't understand why Godzilla's hurting people, but then Mechagodzilla's in?
I mean,
so it's
they
like
also said that like they've referenced, like, even in the last one, that Ghidorah was an alien. It's just, are we getting literally the flying saucer aliens, or like what are we getting with the aliens in quotes?
The aliens. The fucking aliens.
I could go completely off the CG punching rails, and just the next movie is that one where it's like literally everyone fights.
Yeah. Also, apparently, the axe Kong has, the blade is one of Godzilla's back scales.
Sick.
Because
really
it has a very similar look to his back scales as well. I mean, Brandon, I don't think you've seen the trailer. Have you?
I've seen clips of it.
When he blocks the atomic breath with the axe.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's clearly getting charged up. It's not deflecting. It's absorbing.
It is an odd moment even that I noticed in the trailer because he holds it in front of him and blocks it, and then he moves it and he lifts it over his head, but for some reason Godzilla just keeps shooting at the thing instead of like moving where he's firing his breath. Like, I don't know.
More importantly, just keeping it there.
Yeah, it's very odd.
Well, I mean, that's just a movie thing. That happens in like every movie that has a deflection scene, is they keep going for that.
I was just like, I'm watching the scene though, and I'm like, Godzilla, just move he's giving you a lot of time. You just move your head down so that you're hitting the ape instead of the thing he's holding over.
Maybe because the scale is like a Godzilla scale, it absorbs the like nuclear radiation that is his atomic breath. And he can't move it.
He's stuck.
It would just curve the breath.
Yeah. His breath is, like some Fortune shit from Metal Gear Solid 2.
I want Red Man. I want an entire movie just about Red Man.
Jet Jaguar.
Jaguar and Red Man together at last.
It's coming, baby. It's coming.
Murdering people in the forest.
Aliens show up, we gotta get Jet Jaguar to fight the alien.
Alright. Anything else?
No, that's it. I'm excited.
I am too. It's I will say it is very weird because it's like I watched Aquaman and that was a fucking CG punch movie and a half, and I really didn't care for it because it's like, oh, I don't care for anything. And I'm walking into this knowing that this is going to be a CG punch movie, and I'm so very excited.
I have the opposite reaction. I remember back in the day when we were all sitting around in Richie's kitchen talking about this with John, when it was like, I don't even think this was like first announced. I think it was still rumor that they were setting up for Godzilla vs. Kong. And I was of the same opinion back then that I am now, which is like, that movie's going to suck. Because I said this when we were talking about it back then, that I was like, all it's going to be is soulless monster punch fest of Godzilla fights Kong. We get our big slap fight. And then nothing of importance happens because you can't kill either of them because you need more movies. And then they team up in a Batman vs. Superman-esque fashion to fight some greater threat. Like that, the plot writes itself to the point where I'm like, there's not going to be a twist that I give a shit about. So what is there to be excited about in this movie? Other than they do the kill Godzilla and there's a baby Godzilla thing, like that's the only thing they could do that's of like remotely interesting twist value, and even then I still see it coming. You know what I mean?
What if they kill King Kong and there's a baby King Kong?
That's the same thing. It's just in
what a twist.
What, Actibliz?
That's my problem with this fucking movie is that years ago, that was like 4 years ago or something, 5 years ago that we were having that conversation, and I was like, I could see it then. I wrote the plot myself at Richie's kitchen table ages ago, and that's gonna be what this fucking shit is. So like, I'm not excited about it.
I'm excited. Give me Monster
Be
Punch
excited.
Fest. All right, now to the important news that I know nothing about.
I don't even know what we have left.
GameStop.
Oh, that's right, GameStop.
So
I also
breaking
kind of know.
news.
I know a little about this. I tried to inform myself on it a little bit, but not much.
okay, so there is one thing that you need to know economically, and this is even for you listeners, in order for this story to make sense, and that is what shorting is. What happens when you short is there is a stock at whatever price, and you go to a person that owns a stock, and you go, "Can I borrow this for a little bit?" And they go, "Sure, give it back to me later." So you borrow this stock. You then, as soon as it's in your possession, immediately sell the stock like an asshole for whatever the market rate is. Now, why would you do that? Why would you be a filthy, filthy stock stealer? You think that the stock is going to go down. So you buy and sell this stock. Let's say it's at $10, and you now have $10 in your pocket. And you don't have to give him his stock back just yet, so you twiddle your thumbs. Oh, hey, the stock went down to $5. You buy the stock for $5. You give the man his stock back that you borrowed, even though this is not the same stock, and you
And
pocketed
profit.
a cool $5. So here's where it could go bad, is say the opposite happens and the stock goes up. You could potentially lose infinite money because the stock could just keep going up. If the stock just keeps going down, you just get pocket more and more money. But if it goes up, you have to replace the stock you borrowed. So however much it goes up, you lose. At the beginning of this month, GameStop.
And this is a thing. Correct
Yes.
me if I'm wrong, but this is a big investment firm kind of tactic, correct? Which is why a lot of people from big firms are freaking out at the moment as you go into the details of this story. Or am I incorrect in saying that?
Literally anyone can do it. It has more risk, but it has more payoff. Investors with these brokerage things is that it's a bunch of rich people get together, they give all their money to someone who is a smart, and then that person gets paid a ridiculous sum to make their money multiply like rabbits. So shorting, you can make an incredible amount of money, more than just buying stocks. So smart people, people with a lot of time in the game and potentially a lot of money, tend to do shorts and calls instead of just buying stocks to make ludicrous sums of money. Well, GameStop is a store that sells video games. And in an age devastated by Corona, I think they started last year getting bad press because they tried to claim that they were an essential business, and there was a bunch of like ugliness from that. A whole bunch of other things. Digital sales have been biting into retail, let alone things like Amazon destroying regular business, let alone video game business.
They even, I believe, at near the start of this year, lost their business license in the state of Pennsylvania.
Correct.
I don't know if that's still a thing or not. I haven't followed that. That
So
was quite many months ago. But
GameStop is in bad shape, but it still has a presence on the stock market. People wanting to make a lot of money and being smart, they short the stock. And shorting the stock, especially if it has a lot of shorts on it, has a hilarious side effect of tending to devalue the stock. So it's kind of a rigged game. Like if you get enough people to do that, you automatically make some money. Um, the problem with it is that the borrowing is fixed. It's really hard to immediately return it. You generally have to wait a certain amount of time, and which is in the agreement when you initially borrow the stock. At the start of this month, GameStop stocks were valued at $2. As I'm speaking right now, they are worth $258 a share.
It's fucking insane.
because
Ooh.
because shorts are public domain. You can look at any stock and know who is shorting it and for what money. And a bunch of people on Biz and Wall Street Bets went, hey, there's a lot of us. This stock is hysterically cheap. Fuck these guys. And then they started buying. And then that increases what the stock is worth. And then more people started buying. And then more people hear about it. And it's increasing and it's increasing. And it's gotten to the point where even the people shorting the stocks are now buying the stock, increasing its price because, oh, well, our initial short for $2 is now negative over $200 a share, and we have millions of shares. These new shorts at 200 whatever, yeah, it's going to raise even higher, but we'll only lose $50 per share as opposed to 200. So it makes economic sense for us to buy more shorts. And right now, it is just a test of will. Can a bunch of randos on the internet not be tempted to sell their giga money,
Yeah.
or will the shorters lose money for long enough that they get, well, basically they go out of business. Which is, again, this is very rich people's money, and a lot of them's. Uh, Other fun notes, the reason is it's picking up any steam at all is not just from this. Also, there's a couple of news about GameStop that actually made its stock go up on its own, where it got a few kind of super important investors, namely a Michael Burry, which if you've ever if you've ever seen The Big Short, Michael Burry was the only guy who predicted that the housing market was going to collapse. This guy bought GameStop, and people were like, "Why?" And he was like, "Nah." And another thing is BlackRock, which is one of the biggest investment firms worth $8.67 trillion, currently owns 9 million shares of GameStop.
Wow.
So there's a lot of money tied up in this. Like obscene amounts on all
Yeah.
sides.
Jesus, marriage, Christ.
And either way this goes, it's going to be hilarious. It
Has
gotten,
anyone from GameStop commented on this?
people from GameStop are just
probably
laughing because GameStop went from like a dying business to now being worth over $1 billion.
It's actually
GameStop is worth over $1 billion right now.
It's so insane. Like this, everything about this story, the craziest part is that it's GameStop
Yeah.
of all things.
So what you're saying is,
Buy GameStop.
Well, now it's
yeah,
expensive.
now you can't.
Yeah.
No, you
now
still
it's
can.
expensive.
You
Well,
still
Yeah,
can.
you still
I
can
can't.
because it'll probably keep fucking climbing.
Well, okay,
but-
so here's the thing. If anyone is considering this, and I can't predict the future when this episode actually goes out, this is probably the most volatile time to do it. If you bought a week ago, you'd be looking at nothing but profit, plenty of people willing to buy your shares, whatever. Because after you buy a share, you have to sell it, otherwise you don't have that money.
Yeah.
And right now, it's very high. You potentially could lose a good amount of money. But right now, again, currently, it's just a battle of wills. Will it shrink enough that people will get spooked and sell in mass, thus tanking the stock, or will they ride it through the collapse of the shorting calls, which will then make it giga explode and actually worth money? It's no longer just a joke, it's actually worth money now, like these GameStop shares. So it could go either way, and seriously at any moment. It all depends on who starts pulling out first.
So I should like go and trade in my stuff right now.
Let me put it this way. I have a friend, and the reason I know so much is that he bought GameStop yesterday. He bought a couple of shares. He has already made $300 and sold, and he no longer has anything to lose. So he just made $300 in a few hours.
The frightening thing about it is that you don't know when this shit's gonna boil over and
Exactly.
GameStop goes back to tanking. That's the frightening part. So you could jump in at the wrong time.
Exactly.
And this whole story is yesterday's news, and the stocks go back to being like $2.
Someone is always holding the bag at the end of it.
Yeah.
Who's it gonna be?
But if you were one of the people who jumped in early or just happened to be holding GameStop stock, like, holy fuck, dude.
Ouch. No.
Again, it went from $200 to $300 at its peak.
I've heard
I
stories.
mean, $2 to $300 at its peak. So imagine you had bought 1,000 shares of GameStop stock at $2. You spent $2,000. Now those 1,000 shares are worth over over $200,000.
I've seen story. Because in my attempt at informing myself a little bit on this before the podcast, I read a few articles and I watched a few videos on it, and I've seen people who are holding enough shares that they're sitting on like a few million dollars now, and like that's insane.
Well, and here's the other fun part about it, because I mentioned what shorts are. There's also a thing called calls, and that's a short in reverse where it goes, I bet you it's gonna go up. And so calls are just as risky as shorts are, so there's a much bigger return. There was a guy on Wall Street Bets who went from 50,000 to currently sitting at 44 million from calls on this and this alone.
The fuck, dude?
It's fucking crazy, dude.
We're in the wrong business.
Yeah,
Why did we not buy GameStop stock? How could we not see this coming?
Yeah.
How
How
come
come
we-
with all the bad press that GameStop got that we talked about earlier in this year or last year, it would have been impossible to see this shit coming, honestly.
Oh yeah.
We're idiots.
Yeah.
We're fools.
The only way you would have seen this
even
coming is if you were
even last week when it was like, oh, it's up 69%. That's weird.
Nice.
That 69% of the terrible like $10 that it was still only $20. We would have still made 10 times our investment if right then and there we bought in.
Yeah, that's true. I think realistically one of the only ways you could have seen this coming is if you were in that subreddit when people were formulating these fucking plans.
Oh, here's the other fun part, cause now you're fucking with millionaires' money. Now the espionage starts kicking in. Wall Street Bets has been kicked off of Discord for no fucking reason.
Nice.
People are already pressuring regulation on what is just people buying stocks, even though this has been completely legal and it's like nothing is going on at all. One of the major funds that was like hyper shorting GameStop already had to be bailed out. They already ran out of money. It's
a system that was not prepared.
The Treasury of the goddamn White House made a statement on it a couple of
I saw
hours
that.
ago.
I saw that. I actually saw that, and I was like, "Wow, dude, this has grown to some heights." Listen, I guess Wall Street, like, they've been running on this system for quite some time. They were not prepared for Redditors. It was the only thing they couldn't see coming.
Oh yeah. It's a lot of the blatant fucking favoritism is kind of funny too. Like, it's really hard to be they're costing these people millions of savings, but they're all rich scumbags anyway, and just to see them cry, just there's a schadenfreude involved in it where I'm like,
no, yeah, I don't give a shit about any millionaire that's getting fucked as a result of this, but it is hilarious.
And even just the fact that like all this time that the stock market has existed, maybe not the entire time, but for a good portion of years now, like shorts and calls and all of this has been a thing. And now it's blowing up in their faces, and immediately they're like getting on the line where it's like, you gotta pass laws. We can't lose our money. This is ridiculous. And it's
Please
like,
help.
it's so, fuck you guys.
The common man is fucking up our billions of dollars. Please assist.
And yeah,
Please.
other
We
crazy
need government
things.
involvement.
Other minor crazy things is Wall Street Brits had to go private for a bit because their number of users as the stories start to broke like quintupled in a few hours, and it was like impossible to use that section of Reddit. They had like multiple front page posts. Like, this shit is blowing up.
I'm very curious to see where this goes. Like, at what point? How does this end? When does this cease to exist and GameStop goes back to $2 a share?
Yeah. It's gonna be
When does the first average Joe fucking day trader cash out and make millions of dollars?
probably the best comment I've saw regarding that is Wall Street currently learning what a true GameStop trade-in looks like.
That's awesome.
That's a good one. I like it.
And the only other thing is
Reggie
current.
Filame must be happy. That's
Oh
awesome.
my God, yeah.
Filame? How do you pronounce his last name? I don't remember.
Reggie, that his body is red in Maine.
Reggie the man, the Nintendo guy.
Yeah, what was it, like a couple of years ago? No, not even. I think it was less than that he became board of directors, and now this shit is happening.
It was very recently. It was like at the height of GameStop's like downturn
Yeah.
when he like jumped in and everyone was like, "Oh, Reggie's gonna save GameStop," and then GameStop
Reddit
still
saved
kind of in shit.
GameStop.
Yeah, it turns out the common man saved GameStop from Reddit.
But yeah,
For now.
It's an absolutely insane thing, and since it's now like in national kind of news, this is where the real explosion could potentially happen. It's either going to immediately die or it's going to reach levels that are ridiculous. Some projectionists are doing, I think, silly shit where they're like, oh no, you could still buy it now. GameStop is for sure going to hit at least 1,000 a share.
Jesus Christ. Do you really think it'll climb? I mean, it's at, what is it
I
at now?
don't.
Like 300 and something?
It's current. It dipped, like, it went from 350 to like 300 right before call ended. Technically, you're not supposed, like, trading ends. It's like a regular work day, and then the price is supposed to be fixed, but there is after hours trading. And one of the reasons my friend made as much money as he did is he went to bed and he woke up, and the second that it opened on the floor, GameStop opened the floor at plus $100. And he was like, "Oh God, okay, I just made $100 for every share of that, and I literally did nothing." So, who knows what it's going to be like in the morning?
Do we just like fucking just pool some money together and buy some shares right now?
I mean, you could. I think it's past, honestly, because again, we're currently at a game of will. So whoever starts selling first, either people sell back their shorts and just take the loss, which that's so much money no one's going to do.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's devastating.
But
like,
even a lot of these people doing this, they're first time investors. They're investing either all that they have or money that they really can't. The second that the price drops like $50, they're gonna sell everything, and then that's gonna make it go down, which could make someone else sell everything. It is extremely fragile. This is like watching cryptocurrency trackers right now, where it's like you look at it and it's plus 20, and then you blink and it's like minus 40. It's like it's been like that for like the past hour. It's complete madness.
Well, I'm sure by next week we'll have another GameStop related story.
Yeah, I'm sure the saga will have wrapped up.
By next week, we will be either reporting on it being $1,000 a share, or we will be reporting on it having collapsed.
Back to $2.
That there has to be one dude, probably grew up the 90s, early aughts.
Has a shitload of GameStop stock.
He had faith in GameStop. That was there for his childhood.
And he was like,
and he
fuck, it's only like
stuck by him.
$2 now. It's not even a point. I'm just going to hold on to it and see what happens.
And then one day he wakes up.
The millionaire.
And he's like, holy fuck, I made $10 million.
I did nothing.
What the fuck? I'm set for life.
But unfortunately, he's such a true savant. When it collapses, he probably won't sell it either. He's gonna hold on to it. He's gonna ride that wave.
I mean, listen, if I were one of the people who jumped in on this madness and I was sitting on like millions of dollars of GameStop stock, I can promise you my will would not be strong enough to not sell that.
Yeah.
I assure you. I would be one of the first.
Oh yeah, my friend already got out. He was literally in it one day.
Yeah.
Saw it jump as much as it did, both up and down, and he was like, "Whatever, I made $300. That's
a nice little. See, that's like a nice little casual dick like tip in though. You know, like just sinking your little toes in there, the little tip of your penis in there, right? Like just testing the waters. But if you're one of these people sitting on like millions of dollars of GameStop stock, I'm selling that in a heartbeat, immediately.
But yeah, it's a crazy story, and it fills me with joy because rich bastards are getting fucked, and it may lead to legislation, and
there are so many videos out there of these people from these investment firms and shit being like, listen, I assure you this is gonna stop. It's gonna tank. You should totally sell your shit. Like people are freaking out. The world is on fire. From what I can see of the small research that I've done. And the few articles I've read that have linked some rich fucks going nuts about this.
Oh, in the meantime, some slight new news. Cyberpunk 2077 official modding tools released. And also,
really?
Cyberpunk 2077 bans unauthorized Keanu Reeves sex mods.
Nice.
It's that quick. And all the commotion, the nude Keanu came and went.
His impressive cock.
You're breathtaking, Keanu.
Breathtaking Keanu. That's the name of the mod.
And that's...
Is that our news?
Yeah,
Do we
that
get
is
the
the
whole
news.
fucking roundup?
We
Nice.
get all the points.
That's the news.
Bye-bye.
I hate all of you. I have to take a massive shit, so I've been waiting for the podcast to end.
If you're listening to this,
What a trooper.
take a quick gander, since I don't know when it's going up, at GameStop stock, and then have a hard look at your bank account, and that's it. Bye-bye.
I'm gonna go take a shit now.